Okay, my dudes, we are live and we got some pressure on us right now because a couple things are going on. So it took me so damn long to get this set up. Thank God we have our audio on. I got a little worried about that. But that sign behind us, the lights just kept on just breaking. They would fall down. It would never be on. So I went out, I bought some of the nicest ones we could, and it's taken so long to set up. But now we got some fun functions with them. I can control them from my phone. If I pull that up real quick, we can be moving that around depending on what we are feeling like. Right now, we're going to be going with the blue. And on top of this, we are late to the live stream because of that. I said we were going to be live streaming every single day at 8 p.m. Eastern, usually a little before. And yeah, now we're late. But if you were always having to watch these as a video later on, and you always wanted to come out to a live stream, get in a draft with us, I have a great announcement to be making. Guys, there's a function on YouTube that allows you to come out to these streams. They just added it, I believe, like a decade ago. You can subscribe to the channel. You can hit the bell next to the subscribe button. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to know when we're live streaming. So make sure you do that so you can get in these drafts. You can kind of crush me with my teams. And yeah, this is going to be fun here. I'm not going to have the time to go through and send out a link in the Patreon chat because I was scrambling to get this going. So I'm just going to send out a link to this draft out in the live chat for everybody right now that was able to come out right away. Maybe a draft we'll do tonight. We will send one in the Patreon chat. But anyway, let me just go set this up ASAP so we can get this started. We don't have to wait that long. As always, we're going to be kicking it off with a $5 draft. And after this, we can do a 50, we can do 100, we can do another 5, just depending on what everybody wants in the live chat. But let me pull this up right now. Let me start us off with a $5 league. And I'm just going to be sending this out in the general chat for everybody that's subscribed with that notification bell hit. And also, I know if you aren't getting notifications lately, yes, it's kind of annoying. I can't do anything about it. I think that what's happening is just because we're uploading every video in the morning. We're live streaming every night. I mean, YouTube doesn't like that amount of content getting put out. So maybe they're just kind of I don't want to say that's a poor choice of words, but they're definitely not sending out notifications to everybody. How we can get around that is if you want to make sure you are getting that notification, drop a like on it. Okay, so Noah out here in the chat says, sign is looking lit, pun intended. Yes, sir, guys. If y'all didn't know, Noah actually created the sign for us. And yes, sir, I got those new LEDs in. We tried to screw a hole on the side to run a wire through. Well, that didn't work out, so they're kind of running through the back right now. Thank God it didn't fall off the back, but hopefully it stays up. Okay, so I'm going to send it out, say $5 draft right here. And we will get this going. It will take us 10 seconds to fill it. And also, like I said, guys, if you want to hop in a draft with us this offseason, there's a very easy way for you to do that. All you have to do is make sure you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. I will leave a link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat. I will also do that in the YouTube comment section, the YouTube description. So if you want to draft with us, if you want a free $25, if you also want our 2021 draft guide, make sure you go use promo code FLOCK. And here we are getting the 109. Okay, so we haven't had that much experience drafting out of the 109, but I'm happy that we get it. I know a lot of people wouldn't feel comfortable with this pick, as I definitely need more practice with it. That's why I'm happy we get it in a $5 draft instead of a $100 draft, so we can go through. Maybe we can try some new stuff out. In a stream last night, we tried out drafting both Darren Waller and George Kittle on the same team. Now, that was a disaster. We learned that you never want to do that in one of these drafts. So yeah, at the 109, let's see how this goes. And also, guys, I see that we already have 50 likes in the live stream. Thank you, everybody, for going down there and dropping that like. Okay, so Adam says, your opinion on Cam Newton in the last round, question mark. Okay, so with Cam, obviously, you know that he has a high ceiling anytime he is going to be playing. The problem is how many games you actually get from him. In a best ball format where you're going through, you're trying to score points the entire year, I don't necessarily love the idea of getting Cam Newton in a format like that. Whereas if you're playing where you have access to the waiver wire, you can stream the quarterback position after Mac Jones takes over, then I actually really like taking Cam Newton in the last round. So it's going to depend. Are you playing in a best ball league on Underdog, or are you drafting for your own regular fantasy football league? Okay, but no surprise here. You got CMC, Dalvin Cook going off at the 101 and the 102. Okay, so Derrick Henry at the 103. Okay, so Devontae Adams at the 104, Alvin Kamara falling all the way to the 105. And like I said, guys, after last night's drafts, how we experimented with a couple different things happening at the 103 pick, I think we definitely are going to be moving Devontae Adams up to the number 3 spot overall in our rankings. We're going to have Alvin Kamara falling down to the number 4 spot. But let's see what we are going to be faced with at the 109. I think, obviously, if we go Kelsey here, we are put in a great spot from our roster construction standpoint, which we talk about all the time. So Kelsey goes right before us. Antonio Gibson at the 107. Now, that is massive. So let's look at where we are going to be drafting. I think this is going to be a decision that most people want to be going with a Tyreek Hill. Personally, I'm not too concerned with a Saquon Barkley, understanding that, yes, you have to be a little bit worried about the knee. But at the same time, we're drafting for upside here. I think Barkley does have top 3 overall running back upside. Nobody's going to be surprised if he finishes only behind Christian McCaffrey in fantasy points this year. So I think getting him at the 109, you are taking a little bit of risk, but that risk is already baked into his price. Because if I told you were getting Saquon Barkley for all 16 games fully healthy, in that case, Saquon Barkley, instead of being drafted in the 9th pick, would actually probably be at number 3, number 4 overall. I'm actually a little more concerned with the offensive line rather than his injury. But yeah, we are going to be getting Saquon Barkley at the 109. We are taking him over a Tyreek Hill. Okay, so Jared says, should I draft Alvin Kamara? If you're playing in a full PPR format, I am going to be comfortable drafting Alvin Kamara above anybody that is not named Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, or Devontae Adams. Okay, so Aaron Jones at the 112 after these 2 elite wide receivers go off the board. So now we are going to be back up here. The thing is, at the 204, are we wanting to go with a balanced start, draft a wide receiver? Are we wanting to go with a RB start and possibly look to just push running backs up this entire draft board? But I think when you're drafting in the middle range where you're at the 109, the 108, the 107, the 106, the 104, there I more so want to be just taking the value that falls to us compared to going and trying to push players around. So instead, we are going to be getting Calvin Ridley here. Okay, thank God. I thought we were actually on the clock, but no, DeAndre Hopkins goes right before us. So we get Calvin Ridley at the 204. I am in love with this start. Getting Barkley, who I believe does have that elite level ceiling, as well as Calvin Ridley, who I wouldn't be surprised finished as the wide receiver 1 overall. And the pressure is on because I have already named the title of this stream my best draft of all time. So we're probably going to do 2 to 3 drafts tonight. And one of them better be my best draft of all time. One of them better be just fantastic. I think this one may qualify to have a great start. Let's see what we do in rounds 3 and 4. But let me also send out, Martin says, I'm Chafima. Let me know how I'm doing. My man, I'm not going to be checking on that for a couple of rounds. I mean, you can't really go wrong with your 1st and 2nd round selection. I'll say at the 107, I think that is very rich for Antonio Gibson. And then going J.K. Dobbins at the 206. Like I said, guys, this is not a mock draft. This is a real money league. And I think how we've said this so many times before, but Underdog Fantasy is actually the best way that you can prepare for this upcoming season. Where, yeah, I mean, you don't want to exclusively play in best ball leagues. Of course, you shouldn't only play in best ball leagues. But the best thing about best ball formats are you can use them as a tool to get significantly better in fantasy football in 2021. Whereas if you're going through some mock drafts, you're going to see some people make some wild picks that would never happen in a real league. You're also going to see some people just auto drafting after the 4th round because God knows Jimmy needs to go make dinner, so he's going to leave the draft. He has no money attached to it. So mock drafting, when you're going up against a computer or you're going up against people who don't really care, that doesn't help you at all. Now, what does help you is drafting on Underdog, where at the minimum, maybe you have $3, maybe you have $5 on a draft, but you can win that money at the end. And what's great is you can go through, you can do 15 of those drafts. It doesn't cost you that much, especially if you use promo code FLOCK and you get an extra $25 bonus. You also get our 2021 draft guide for free. I know a lot of people are selling their draft guides for $75. I am selling mine for $10 if you just deposit that $10 on Underdog Fantasy, and then you also get that $25 bonus. So I'm paying you $15 to take my draft guide, which I know sounds like a scam, but I promise you it is not. I believe in Underdog that much. That's why we have this partnership. What I want y'all to do is you don't have to go play in a $100 league. No, I'm not asking for y'all to do that at all on Underdog. Use $10, get the $25 deposit, then become a better fantasy football player because these drafts are going to be solid top to bottom. I mean, here, J.K. Dobbins at the 206, that's a very rare pick that I see in these. Jonathan Taylor falling all the way down to the 210. Now, Jonathan Taylor, we dropped him significantly in our rankings after the injury to Carson Wentz and then after the injury to Quentin Nelson as well. I dropped Jonathan Taylor down to the 207, and I thought that was maybe even a little too low. So the fact that you get Jonathan Taylor at the 210, I mean, if you would have started here with Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, and then possibly like a CeeDee Lamb, I mean, my God, the 103 could have been fantastic here. I think going Derrick Henry over DeAndre Hopkins, I think going with Terry McLaurin over CeeDee Lamb, I don't agree with those two decisions, but I mean, getting Jonathan Taylor at the 210 is a gift. George Kittle falls to the 305. This is a crazy draft. We have some madmen in this draft right now. Maybe it's because we sent it out in the general chat instead of sending it out on Patreon at first, but this is a crazy draft board. I think that we're going to crush this league. We're going to crush right here. Okay, so now we are going to be at the 309. Let's see what is going to be available to us. We are 3 picks away. Of course, I got to kind of keep my mouth shut if we are wanting a player that we want to fall to us. Now, CeeDee Lamb goes at the 307. You never see CeeDee Lamb go at the 307 anymore. And now we are up at the 309, and it's really going to be down between, do we want a running back in Chris Carson? Do we want a wide receiver in Robert Woods? Y'all know how aggressive I am on Robert Woods. If you pull up my draft guide, I actually have Robert Woods ranked as the wide receiver 11 overall. So we are going to be taking Robert Woods at the 309 to pair together with Saquon Barkley, to pair together with Calvin Ridley. I actually really think that's a solid pick. The only other consideration we would have had would possibly be going running back there. I mean, I would be fine going with Mahomes if instead we took Tyreek Hill in the first instead of Saquon Barkley. But I think that would have completely changed this draft. And I actually definitely prefer the start of Saquon Barkley, then Calvin Ridley, then Robert Woods. Okay, so now Mike Evans at the 13-11. Okay, so Zachary says, can you adjust the screen? It's a little top-sided to the left. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know that, my dude. Let me maybe just expand this, to be honest. Is that what we need to do? Does that look better? Okay, thank you for giving me a heads up on that. Let me know. What I know that's probably nauseating when I'm just going through and making. Okay, how about that? How does that look for everybody? I can make my camera. What we'll do is we'll slide it up as well. We'll slide it up so everybody can see the entire draft board. Okay, so Tyler Lockett at the 312. That is higher than I've seen Tyler Lockett go in any of these drafts. People are going crazy in this draft room. This is the craziest underdog draft we have seen so far. I mean, if every draft looked like this, I would be ecstatic. I mean, we're probably going to get some nice value here in the 4th round. Party till she's hot out here. A regular in the chat says Terry McLaurin over Allen Robinson and getting question mark. Yeah, my man. That's why I'm saying I'm probably never going to draft Terry McLaurin in 2021. I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like I hate Terry McLaurin, but I hate taking him over Allen Robinson. I hate taking him over CeeDee Lamb. If you pull up my draft guide, I actually have Robert Woods ranked over Terry McLaurin. Maybe we draft Terry McLaurin over Robert Woods if we get the opportunity, just because we would never draft him if we didn't. But now at the 404, the thing is, if we take Mahomes here, we do only have to take 2 quarterbacks in this draft. But are we willing to pass up on this wide receiver value that presents itself? So I think based on us taking Robert Woods in the 3rd round, I think we actually kind of go off base a little bit from our rankings, where y'all know I love a Julio Jones. I love a T. Higgins here. I think instead we can possibly make a bet on the overall Los Angeles Rams offense and kind of make this a Rams stack team, where we're going to go with Cooper Kupp at the 404 and give Jackson a gift at the 405, where he is able to start it off with Travis Kelce and Mahomes, get that elite stack in here. He also has, some wide receiver production in DK Metcalf. He has David Montgomery as well. That's a very balanced start to a draft. And also, guys, let me know if we want to be doing 2 to 3 drafts tonight, because we started a little late because we had to get the lights set up. But let me know if y'all are wanting 2 to 3 drafts, just because I don't know if y'all are maybe burnt out, because we've done back-to-back 4-hour live streams on this channel. So please, of course, drop a like just for the amount of streaming that we have actually done. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're not seeing anybody else do that. Okay, so Miles Sanders at the 407, and I am trying to read the chat right now, my dudes, but it's going way too fast. So what I'm actually going to do is something I should have done at the beginning. We're going to transition this over to a subscriber-only chat. That way I can actually keep up with it a little bit more. Okay, so let me try to figure out. Y'all know I'm very bad at doing this. Okay, so let's go to edit. Maybe we go to details. Okay, it's not going to be on details. Maybe it's customization, which is not loading. But anyway, okay, so yeah, perfect. I think we got the chat. Okay, so we got the chat set up to subscriber only. That way I can monitor the messages as well. Joe says, can we do 69 drafts? Okay, people are spamming the chat saying they want 4 drafts. Guys, if we did 4 drafts tonight, I would be drafting until 1 a.m. That would be ridiculous. Okay, some people saying 5. Okay, there's no way I can do 4 to 5 drafts tonight. How about this? We've broken 500 likes on each of the past 2 live streams. If we break 400 likes with our first 2 drafts, we'll do 4 drafts tonight. But I want 400 likes before our first 2 drafts are over. And we hit that the past 2 nights, but I think since we're a little later here, it's probably going to be less likely that we hit it. I think most likely we're only going to do 2 to 3 drafts, but it's mainly going to be dependent on what y'all are wanting. Okay. Party Till She's Hot says, count me in for the $500 draft, brother. Oh yeah, guys, if y'all have not heard, we're actually going to be doing a $500 draft. I don't want to say exactly when the date is. I will make that announcement when I have confirmation. But yeah, we are going to be doing a $500 draft soon, given the fact that we hit our amount of Patreon members that we had as a goal. So we crushed that. So of course, I had that as a goal that we would do another $500 draft. Y'all really liked the last one that we did. And when we hit more Patreon members, I have more money to spend on fantasy football drafts. And it's that simple. So we hit that goal. So I'm like, okay, well, I have this money now. Let's spend it on a fantasy football draft. Okay, so now we have some elite quarterbacks going off with Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. Since we went through and we got Barkley, Ridley, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, I'm not looking to take either one of those quarterbacks in the 5th round. I would definitely prefer seeing a wide receiver, a running back, a tight end that we like falling to us. So yeah, you love seeing those quarterbacks go. Now Jacobs at the 505. I actually have a video coming out about Josh Jacobs very soon now, where Josh Jacobs was a running back that, if y'all remember at the beginning of the offseason, I was screaming into the wind that Josh Jacobs was one of the worst picks in fantasy. That's back when he was going at the beginning of the 3rd round. And now that you're getting him in the 5th round, I've actually done a complete 180 through the course of the offseason, where I'm sitting here all of a sudden going, we've way overcorrected on Josh Jacobs. Now, Travis Etienne going, I would have loved to get Travis Etienne. I hate to see that draft pick. That pisses me off. 1 pick before us too. So now we're on the clock. We've taken Odell in so many of these. I think that we would actually prefer on passing on him there. Maybe a Javonte Williams would have been intriguing if it wasn't for the reports about Melvin Gordon being so adamant. So here, I think we take a player that we actually haven't drafted. Actually, no, we took Mark Andrews in one of these drafts. But given the fact that we have 3 wide receivers here, we have that elite running back, I think we have the flexibility where we can get that tight end if we want him. So we're going to take Mark Andrews at the 509. Now, TJ Hawkinson, a tight end that I definitely would consider over Mark Andrews. But a big thing here is when we're going to be doing like 200 of these fantasy drafts, if I have TJ Hawkinson ranked slightly ahead of Mark Andrews, but I have TJ Hawkinson in 1,000,000 drafts and I only have Mark Andrews in about 10, then I kind of have to start just balancing it out slightly. Of course, I'm still going to own way more TJ Hawkinson this year than Mark Andrews, but I can't own 100% TJ Hawkinson and 0% Mark Andrews. I mean, I've already talked to y'all about how many drafts I have taken Cam Akers in, and literally in Dynasty Fantasy Football, where you can make trades through the year, I had like 50% into Cam Akers. And I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I'm a high volume Dynasty Fantasy Football player. I mean, I put so much money into Dynasty Fantasy Football that if I have half my teams with Cam Akers going down, we are in a bad place before the season even starts. So I'm not trying to do that with TJ Hawkinson as well. Okay, so Courtney goes Myles Gaskin at the 602. Let's see where Florida decides to go here. Okay, so given the fact that we have 1 running back, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end, we really can go any direction that we would want. Let me check Kenny Golladay. Okay, so optimism about the hamstring injury. So we check this. Initial indications are that Galladay's hamstring issue isn't serious. The wideout who was spotted walking gingerly off the field Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he hasn't determined how long he's going to be sidelined yet. I think just going through and reading those reports is not encouraging to a point where we see that there's a big tier of wide receivers here. We already have 3. I think I'm actually fine reaching a little bit, or at least quote unquote reaching and getting our guy Kareem Hunt. Y'all know how much I love Kareem Hunt in fantasy based on the fact that he's going to have I don't want to say an every down role, but he's going to have a role in his offense every single game where you can expect a baseline low-end running back too. And if anything were to occur to Nick Chubb, all of a sudden, Kareem Hunt becomes a top 6 pick in fantasy. I mean, I've asked this question before, but please let me know what y'all think. What would happen to Kareem Hunt's fantasy value if Nick Chubb was the guy who tore his Achilles instead of Cam Akers? I would make the argument that you would have Kareem Hunt ranked ahead of Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones. At least I would be extremely aggressive. I think I would have Kareem Hunt as the 6th or the 7th player overall. Now, I understand we saw a small stretch of Nick Chubb missing time last year, and Kareem Hunt didn't vault up to be the elite running back that we thought he was going to be. Now, I'll say a couple things with that. it was a very small sample. So you have to be cautious with small samples and thinking that that's exactly what's going to happen when the real opportunity arises, because we have multiple seasons of examples of Kareem Hunt being a top 5 running back in fantasy in Kansas City when he was a rookie and a sophomore. So I think we prefer to go with the larger sample there, understanding that the situation is very similar where Cleveland has an elite offensive line. And on top of this, we have to understand that Kareem Hunt was dealing with his own injury when Nick Chubb went down. So you weren't getting 100% healthy Kareem Hunt. So while yes, Hunt was disappointing last year when Nick Chubb went down, he was still a high-end running back too when that happened, where he didn't get to that elite status, but it was a small sample. He got the workload. He was dealing with an injury himself. I would make an argument that if something happened to Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt becomes a borderline top 5 running back. Okay, so Jared coming out with a donation. Thank you, my dude. Says, love what you're doing, Mason. I am trying to join your Underdog and get the draft guide, but I don't know how to join. Good luck with your draft. My man, thank you so much for coming out here, supporting the channel, not only with the donation, but more importantly, by trying to join Underdog, get our draft guide. Okay, so it's very easy, man. I will send out a link in the live chat real quick. It's in the description as well. It's in the comment section if you're watching this as a video later on. And essentially, all you have to do is click that link. You have to confirm your identity on Underdog, but it's because they're giving out a free $25 for anybody who uses promo code FLOCK. So you do just some quick thoughts about what it means to run a business. And obviously Underdog can't go, okay, let's give out everybody $25 that joins with promo code FLOCK. And let's not make them verify their identity, because all of a sudden, if that was the case, you could make 20 different accounts. You could steal thousands of dollars from Underdog. And of course, they're not going to let that happen. They're going to let you have $25, but they're not going to let you steal a ridiculous amount of money. So you will have to identify your, verify your identity. Also, because you're actually putting money onto the site. We're playing fantasy sports. So there are a couple other legal things with it. So that literally takes about 10 minutes. You just have to put in your name, I believe, where you live, just because you can't play Underdog in certain states like Montana. And at the same time, then someone goes in, they go, okay, this is a real person. He hasn't made an account before. They give you that $25. And then what you'll do is you shoot me a DM on Discord, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. And you say, hey, Mason, I use promo code FLOCK on Underdog. Here's my email that I did so with. Then I can go through, I can confirm your identity, and I can go, hey, man, thank you so much for supporting the show. Here's our 2021 draft guide. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns about it. So yeah, that is exactly the process of using promo code FLOCK on Underdog. But now we are up at the end of the 7th round right here. And honestly, we don't have a stack available to us with the Russell Wilson, but I am kind of considering him here just because, I mean, Russell Wilson is my guy. I don't really even care. We're going to go Russell Wilson at the end of the 7th. I know it's not ideal not having either DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, but I mean, Russell Wilson is consistently a top 10 quarterback who never ever misses time. So in a format like this, I think that does give us a reason to be taking him over wide receivers like a Will Fuller when I'm comfortable that we can get someone like that coming on the back end. Okay. So now let me go through. Nate says, Flock, can you DM me back on Twitter? Yes, sir, guys. If you have shot me a Twitter DM, if you shot me an Instagram DM in the past 3 hours looking for the draft guide, I'm very sorry, my dudes. I've been running back and forth. I've literally gone to Home Depot 3 times in the past 3 hours. I'll literally drive there, go, okay, is this the piece that I needed? Drive back, try to fix the sign. If the sign's lights weren't working, I was going, okay, well, back to Home Depot. And that spent so much time. That's why we were late on the stream tonight. But y'all know after the live stream, I will go through and I'll reply to every single Twitter DM, every single Instagram DM, every single Patreon, every single Discord. So yeah, I promise you, if you shoot me a DM during this live stream, if you shot me a DM before, you are going to be getting a DM back. Unexpected Savage says, love the Ram stack. I love the multiple drafts every day. Very helpful. And I look forward to smoking my other friends' drafts. Yes, sir. My man, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And I will say that we are going to be so much better at drafting than other people this year. I mean, when other people are using machines to go up and draft against a computer that doesn't know what's exactly going to happen in a fantasy draft, and we know that computers literally are so bad at just using them as tools alone to try to get better at fantasy. And if you try to go up and mock draft against other people, I mean, I remember literally back in like 2014 being a Schlitterbahn lifeguard, right? And I'm waiting at the tram to take me over, and I'm in the Yahoo lobby and I'm trying to mock draft, and I'm just so excited because all I thought about all summer was fantasy football. People are finally ready to mock draft. And then I'm back there in the Yahoo lobby at 2014, going through, trying to mock draft with people, finally getting one to fill. Then all of a sudden I get in, I make my first 2 picks, and then I'm only drafting with 3 other people because everybody left. And all that excitement was for nothing. Well, for $10, you can hop into so many drafts and win money on Underdog. Get our promo code, support the show. There's nothing better. And here we are going to be taking our first draft ever with Michael Carter at the 804, who is getting first team reps in New York, a player that I'm not going to lie, I am lower on him than most people. I actually think that he compares very similar to Devin Singletary, where he's an undersized running back that isn't particularly athletic, but he is a good pass catcher. So I think Michael Carter is a little concerning. Now, I understand that if you go look at our rankings, we most likely have A.J. Dillon slightly ahead of Michael Carter, but a big thing is I'm in so many leagues. I'm going to be doing 100+ leagues just this month. We're investing a ridiculous amount of money into it. So even if I have AJ Dillon over him, I can't have AJ Dillon on 40% of my teams and Michael Carter on 0%. So when Carter does fall to the 804, when usually he's going a little bit before this, he's going in the Trey Sermon range, I think it's going to be a fair price to go out there and get a share of him, even though I'm not in love with it. Okay. So Noah says, dude, the new lights he got set up look badass. Good job, Mason. Yeah, no, Noah, thank you so much for the sign, my man. Guys, Noah's actually creating us an Underdog sign for the studio as well. I'm so excited about that Underdog sign because clearly this is like the best partnership. This is one of the best sites that you can play on. I mean, this channel is booming right now. I'm excited. The Underdog sign is going to go here. We have Wanted Alex from the Patreon chat also making us a logo sign here. I'm going to remove the tree. The tree's only there to fill space right now. But yeah, guys, this is the first draft. We're going to be doing multiple drafts after this. It's going to depend on the amount of likes that we get on the live stream, to be completely honest, because I mean, it's been late. I've been streaming very late as of late. I'm sure that if you listen to my podcast on Patreon today that I recorded this morning, you could hear my voice and how disgusting it sounded. So I think I probably have to save my voice a little bit, but if we have a ton of demand to do more drafts tonight, of course I'll be doing it, but let's just see what the likes end up looking like at the stream, what the numbers end up looking like, and if I should continue to go out there and continue to stream as much as I have been. Okay, so now let's get that here. Okay, Rob says the flock sign is obviously offensive. Get rid of it. I have no idea what that means, my dude. I don't know if that's a joke, that inside joke in the chat that I don't understand. If someone wants to explain the joke to me, I'm all in. Okay, so now Jarvis Landry, Hollywood Brown, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Cooks. Okay, so at this point, we are really hoping that we get some wide receivers falling back to us. And when we take Wilson here, while yes, of course, we would love to go out there and we would love to still have access to get Matthew Stafford, based on the fact that we did take Robert Woods, we did take Cooper Kupp, but our draft pick of Russell Wilson, when we thought he was a value at the end of the 7th, I mean, it does make it where we're not going to be in a position where we can afford to go out there and actually reach on Matthew Stafford. So I think maybe that was a poor decision of us taking a Russell Wilson, but I really didn't want to have to hit the button on drafting Will Fuller over Russell Wilson in this format. So maybe that was maybe it was correct just because the value was there, but from a roster construction standpoint, I mean, it would have been really nice to get like Matthew Stafford in the 10th round. Maybe we can reach on him, but it's just going to be a lot harder now. So Pittman goes at the 906. Let's see what wide receivers fall to us, because I don't think we're necessarily going to be reaching on a running back. Ronald Jones is actually a really good running back in Underdog fantasy, given the fact he has those guaranteed touches. But I really want to be drafting Ronald Jones on a team that I didn't go running back early. Like instead, if we took a guy like a Tyreek Hill in the first round instead of Saquon Barkley, I really would like Ronald Jones here. But I think instead we're actually just going to mainly be looking at wide receiver and quarterback. And if we're going wide receiver quarterback, I actually think that Russell Gage is going to provide a very interesting pick, because Russell Gage does have that projected opportunity. Now, if we decided to go wide receiver a little earlier and instead of hunting a floor, we would be hunting ceiling, I think then if we're going for a ceiling play, we go with either Elijah Moore or Rashad Bateman. If Jamison Crowder did not restructure his contract and he actually got cut earlier this offseason, like myself and a lot of other people were thinking, there the pick is an Elijah Moore, and it's not even close. But based on Jamison Crowder coming back, that takes a slight dip away from both Corey Davis and Elijah Moore. So here we are going to get Russell Gage at the 909, who projects to see a decent amount of targets as our wide receiver 4. And yeah, we'll see where we go from here. Okay. So now JN says third in F and 17, referring to the UT LSU game in 2019. Yes, sir. I don't know if I've told you, but I was at that game before. I was at that game where Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, I want to say that was their blow-up performance because that was on national spotlight. We actually had College Game Day there, and that was before everybody was viewing Joe Burrow and that LSU offense as just a dynamic one because people were making fun of UT and the defensive backs for allowing LSU to score that many points because everybody thought Joe Burrow was some bum. Well, it's funny how long we've come from there. But yeah, let's see what's going to be falling to us. Okay, so you have Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady going at the 10:01. So let's see where Florida G decides to go after drafting 4 running backs. He goes Matthew Stafford. Okay, so that is tilting. Matthew Stafford was going to be our clear pick at the 10:04. The reason I went with the Russell Gage over him is because there were 2 quarterbacks significantly ahead of him in ADP. So I thought we were going to get a shot to draft him on the way back. So now that we don't have that chance, I actually think we just draft an Elijah Moore. The bye weeks line up just fine where, yeah, we have 3 wide receivers on a week 6 bye, but I don't think that's going to be significant as we can go through and we have those other guys on week 11. So it's not like a scenario that happened a long time ago. But yeah, that is tilting. I really thought we were going to get Matthew Stafford falling back to us the 10:04. That's why I decided to go wide receiver there. Maybe that was a bad call by me because we could have gone Stafford. We still could have got a very comparable wide receiver in Elijah Moore or Rashad Bateman. So that could have easily been just my fault in deciding to go that route. And also, guys, if you are making it late to the live stream and you are wondering, oh, God dang it, I missed the invite link to get into this draft at the very beginning of the stream when everybody else was out here. How do I get in the invite link on the next one? Well, guys, we are going to be doing another draft after this. We're possibly going to be doing another draft after that. And if the amount of likes in this video and the amount of people in here are just crazy, maybe we'll be live streaming till like 1 a.m. But I think we're mainly probably just going to be planning on doing 2 or 3 of these drafts. But a great piece of news for you is in tomorrow's live stream, you can get out at the very beginning. And what you need to do is you need to use this tool that YouTube just released. I mean, it is groundbreaking. You would not believe the technology that YouTube came up with. Okay, so if you want to come out at the very beginning, if you want to have that opportunity, you have to hit, it's called a subscribe button. I don't have time to explain it. It's very, very complicated, but just trust me on this one, okay? It's called a subscribe button. It's red. It's in the description of the video. And there's a little bell thing looking next to it like you would ring it. I don't know why they chose that. But you also want to hit that. And what that will do is that will notify you whenever we go live. That way you can be one of the first people out to the live stream. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that groundbreaking technology that YouTube's actually come across. And another thing that YouTube has actually managed to do, which I don't understand how, they must have the best software engineers on the planet. But there's like this thumbs up looking thing and you press it and you're more likely to get recommended our live stream when we go live next. I don't exactly know how it works or anything with, I don't even know what it's called. It looks like a thumbs up thing. So if I were you, I'd hit it, make sure it's blue, and then you should be set. But yeah, those are 2 quick little technology tidbits. Now I know I'm kind of a tech genius compared to a lot of y'all in the chat. So that may have been too complicated. If it was, I completely understand. Don't worry about it. But I tried to make sure that everybody was on the same page. Okay, so SPAC coming out says, rate my team, Chaos Man. My man, SPAC, I can already tell you, I remember that you're the guy who took Antonio Gibson in the first and J.K. Dobbins in the second. I'm going to be hating on this team. Let me get through my picks right here, then we'll go up. We'll be looking at the 107. You also took Kyle Pitts. My man, I'm going to have some bad things to say about your team, but that's going to be payback for in the $1,000 draft, you giving away our draft pick of A.J. Dillon. I'm still blaming you on that one, my man. I will say that. Okay, so let's pull this up right here. We are going to be at the 11:09. We've gone quarterback with Russell Wilson. At running back, we have Saquon Barkley, Kareem Hunt, Michael Carter. At wide receiver, we have Calvin Ridley, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Russell Gage, Elijah Moore. And at tight end, we do have Mark Andrews. Okay, so we have Marvin Jones going here. Gabriel Davis, actually a recent faller in drafts, given the fact that you actually have Emmanuel Sanders running over him right now. So it's really down between one of these guys that's going to be playing for the Saints. Actually, they have a week 6 bye. We already have 3 wide receivers on a week 6 bye. I think we go down slightly. I think we take our second tight end here, and we are going to be done with the tight end position. So we are going to take Mike Gesicki. I don't love it, but we're kind of locked out of both Latavius Murray and Traquan Smith, given the bye week that they had. So here, let me double check the bye weeks on tight ends. Okay, thank God. We lucked into it because I wasn't smart enough to check before. So we get Mike Gesicki there in the 11th. Now we do not have to draft 2 tight ends. I think if we get another quarterback that we feel comfortable with, we only have to draft 2 quarterbacks as well. So we're going to have a lot of extra roster spots that we can fire over at the wide receiver position. Okay, so now Yola says, me no find, subscribe button. My man, there's no helping you out. It's too complicated for me to be able to go through and talk through. I mean, subscribing to the channel is very complicated. I will give everyone that. Okay, but after we take Mike Gesicki, this is kind of exactly what you want to see. I mean, I'm not saying we did it on purpose or anything, but we had 2 tight ends on this team with Mark Andrews, with Mike Gesicki. We already said we weren't taking any more. So after having that pick and seeing Gerald Everett and Evan Ingram go off the board, of course, you have to be a little excited about that. Okay, so now after we get this next pick, I promise you, SPAC, I'm going to be coming out and I'm going to be roasting your team at the 107 because I already know your first and second pick I didn't like. I already know that your 5th pick I didn't like, but after that, we can really dive into it. Okay, so now let's see where we're going to go here. This is kind of a dead zone in the draft. I think at running back, Jamal Williams would be kind of intriguing, but when we have a Saquon Barkley, a Kareem Hunt, a Michael Carter, y'all know how much I hate running backs. I think we want to continue to go with the wide receiver. Justin Fields here possibly could be. No, I'm not going to go Fields. I know he has the ceiling, but we already have that with Russell Wilson. We don't really need it. So Gabe Davis is the clear value, but the problem is just the reports about Emmanuel Sanders. But a big thing is as well that you actually have in Buffalo the fact that they run a ton of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. I mean, they have 4 wide receivers out there all the time. So maybe Emmanuel Sanders seeing a lot of snaps isn't that bad for Gabriel Davis. So we are going to be taking him there at the 1204. And now let's go through and let's make fun of SPAC's team at the 107 because he decided to go with Antonio Gibson over Travis Kelce, over Saquon Barkley, over Tyreek Hill, over Stephon Diggs, over Aaron Jones. All of those players that I actually have ranked ahead of Antonio Gibson. If y'all deposit $10 on Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, you get our 2021 draft guide to see that. And then afterwards, you take a J.K. Dobbins over Najee Harris, over Joe. I have J.K. Dobbins, I believe, ranked down here at the 306 range. You take J.K. Dobbins a full round ahead of ADP. Now I'll say your CeeDee Lamb value at the 307 was fantastic. Your T. Higgins value, fantastic. Taking Kyle Pitts here, I don't like at all. I think we would prefer really Travis Etienne, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson. In the 6th, I'm fine with DJ Chark. In the 7th, I am fine with Trey Sermon. In the 8th, I am fine with Jalen Waddle, fine with Joe Burrow. Robert Tonyan is okay. Yeah, Robert Tonyan's fine there. Trey Lance, I'm okay with. Yeah, so your main problems were 1, 2, and 5. Rounds 1, 2, and 5, I could not get behind my man. Okay, so now we have some more wide receivers after we take Gabriel Davis here, which is exactly what we're wanting to see. SPAC says, I don't like your team either, but I still love you, Mason. My man, I would say the same about you, but you lost us A.J. Dillon in our $1,000 fantasy draft. You made a $2 donation, a $1.99 donation, which I promise you I appreciate, but it could have cost us a league pot of $6,000. Okay? So I appreciate you. I appreciate you, my man, but that one hurt. That one hurt. Okay, so now let's go through and see what happens afterwards. Okay, so we actually have Justin Fields falling a decent amount where Justin Fields would have been the quarterback we would have potentially considered there in the 12th round. So honestly, kind of glad to see that we passed on him with how far he's falling in this draft. Okay, David Johnson at the 1205. Jamal Williams was also a player we were considering. I guess they're both sitting at the top of ADP right now. I doubt, I'm willing to say their names because I doubt either one falls to us. Like, even if we didn't say it. Okay, so Kirk Cousin goes at the 1302. Did something happen with Justin Fields that I didn't know about? Please let me know, my dudes. Okay, so Justin Fields does go at the 1304. Okay, so Eula says, wait, I need to hear the story. What did SPAC do? Okay, I will let y'all in on the story real quick, guys, but please make sure you go down there, drop a like on the live stream. We just passed 250 likes. That is crazy. Okay, so if y'all weren't here, actually our most popular video ever on the channel was a $1,000 fantasy draft that I did where it's actually a $500 buy-in, but what I did is I went through and I paid for my own buy-in and I also paid for a buy-in of someone else, a part of the flock. We did that as a giveaway. So it was a $1,000 fantasy draft for me. we are going wide receiver heavy, given the fact that the format, you can start 3 wide receivers mandatory, and then you can also start 3 more in the flex. So it's like a start 6 wide receiver league. So we go crazy wide receiver early. A lot of people hate it because they don't understand the format. But we think we're going to get our running back 2 in A.J. Dillon around later than he should have gone probably. And we're sitting there waiting, and SPAC is in the chat screaming A.J. Dillon as I don't know that he's falling. Okay, so I think we actually go Alexander Madison here. Easy pick. So yeah, SPAC is in the chat going A.J. Dillon, A.J. Dillon, A.J. Dillon, A.J. Dillon. And of course I'm streaming it. It's $1,000 draft. And of course it's $1,000 draft. So everybody's in the live chat trying to figure out who I'm going to pick so they can snipe me beforehand. Not saying my picks are correct, but obviously they kind of want to know where I'm going, because if you know where someone's going in draft, it's an advantage if they're an idiot or not. So yeah, they're out there in the chat. SPAC is going A.J. Dillon, A.J. Dillon, A.J. Dillon. I'm ignoring him the best I can just because I don't want to say his name out loud and get sniped right before us, because of course we want A.J. Dillon. Y'all know how high I am on A.J. Dillon. And then right before we get on the clock, SPAC actually sends out a $2 donation. So a big thing pops up on the screen, and it's just a message that says A.J. Dillon and a bunch of exclamation points. And then A.J. Dillon goes like 1 or 2 picks right before us. So yeah, that was the story about SPAC killing our $1,000 draft. Okay, so now at the 1404, we are very flexible with where we can go here. We went Russell Wilson in the first. We have 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers. We have 2 tight ends, so we're not looking at tight end. So we're essentially going, okay, do we want a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver? Sterling Shepard and Brandon Cobb are both extremely intriguing here. Neither of them line up on our same bye week, given the fact that this is best ball. It is nice to load up on as many of those wide receivers seeing targets as possible so they can slide in your starting lineup. So we have Saquon Barkley here. So if we go with the Sterling Shepard, possibly we could set up a stack for a Daniel Jones later on. We have a lot of intriguing stack potentials, but I think getting Sterling Shepard here continues to go through, and I mean, just gives us more options. Okay, so now let's go through and Jamison Crowder at the 1406. And guys, like I said, we're also going to be doing another $500 draft. I don't think we're going to be giving away a spot through just a giveaway. Maybe we do. I think it's going to be harder for me to do through Underdog though. So if y'all are wanting to play in our $500 league, yes, you would have to pay $500 to get into it, but it would just be all in the league pot. Then winner obviously gets it. Just as a clear breakdown, make sure you go down there, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, because I will be making an announcement very soon on it. Probably either tomorrow or the next day I'll be announcing that. And also, if you want to watch that draft, even if you don't have $500 to spend on it, you want to see what a $500 draft looks like, and you want to see how an idiot like myself just completely pisses away $500, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell so you can come out. Okay, so Austin Hooper at the 1409. Brashad Perriman at the 1408. Okay, so let's see. This has been a very balanced draft. I mean, there was a little bit of craziness at the very beginning, mainly because SPAC in the second round was just going completely off the wall. But let me know what y'all think of my draft so far. Let me actually go through. We haven't talked about my draft that much. Okay, so we drafted from the 109. We took Saquon Barkley at the 109. Very happy about that selection. Ridley in the 2nd, Woods in the 3rd, Cooper in the 4th, Andrews in the 5th, Hunt in the 6th. Okay, those 6 picks I think were perfect. I don't think I would change anything from those 6. Now, where it gets a little intriguing is I think taking Russell Wilson here in the 7th does hurt us a little bit, because obviously when we set up the stack with Robert Woods and a Cooper Kupp, we were really wanting to get Matthew Stafford later on. And when we took Wilson in the 7th here, I thought we were actually going to have the potential to wait on Matthew Stafford and not have to reach on him in the 9th, and instead we could get him in the 10th. Then we have a little bit of a quarterback run going with Jalen Hurts, Tom Brady, who we know we're going to be drafted before Matthew Stafford, but Matthew Stafford does go 1 pick before us when we get on the 1004. So I think this Wilson pick, even though I love Russell Wilson and I thought he was a great value, that may have been a mistake. And y'all know I always try to go through and look at my drafts again and figure out where the mistakes were. Michael Carter, I don't love him, but we definitely needed to get a share, and that was a fine price to do so. So I think getting him at the 804 is going to be fine. Now the 909, Russell Gage, 1004, Elijah Moore. I think everything out besides that as standard. But I think from a roster construction standpoint, what we most likely messed up on is we messed up on the fact that we went with a Russell Wilson slightly too early. Even though I love Wilson and that value, I think maybe we actually didn't even mess up with that. And instead we messed up with the thought process on that kept us from getting a Matthew Stafford in the 9th. Maybe we should have just reached on Stafford. Let me know what y'all are thinking about that, of course. Okay. So now Rashad Penny at the 1504, Christian Kirk at the 1503. Langdog says, I see a definite regression of Mason's ROI this year. My man, I'm going to keep everybody updated with my fantasy leagues. Y'all remember that I need to update it right now because there's that little ticker in the bottom when I go on full screen. That's like my overall league record from like week 10 when we stopped updating it. But yeah, I need to definitely go through and I'm going to find a way. I'll be in like 200 leagues, so a lot of them are going to be best ball as well. I'm going to have to try to find a way to keep y'all updated with how we're doing through the season because y'all know that's something I did last year because I'm a high volume fantasy player and we've been very profitable season after season after season after season. And in the majority of leagues, I'm playing with y'all, so y'all see exactly how I'm doing throughout the year. It's not like I'm just coming up here and fudging any numbers. So yeah, now we're going to get Daniel Jones as our second quarterback. That's exactly what we set up. We get Daniel Jones. We do get that New York Giants stack. We have Sterling Shepard. We have Saquon Barkley. Not the perfect stack in the world, but I think we definitely do like it as Daniel Jones is going to be a buy low candidate at the quarterback position for us. He showed some rushing ability last year, gets massive, massive weapons upgrade this year. So yeah, I'm definitely going to figure out how I can try to keep y'all updated with how I'm doing in my own fantasy leagues. Because I think that it's so funny that the majority of people that make fantasy football content, I mean, you could just watch it and you can tell that they don't play in actual fantasy football leagues. They make a lot of videos, they make a lot of podcasts talking about it and what players they like, even though they don't hop any drafts themselves. And I think what makes us a little different and how I can relate a lot more is I've been playing in a ridiculous amount of leagues and devoting every second of my life for it since 2014. And I know a lot of people have been playing fantasy longer than that. But I promise you, I have, in my short career, I think that's like an 8-year career, I have played in way more fantasy leagues than anybody here. Okay, so yeah, I will keep y'all updated with how we're doing this season. Last season, our ROI was untouchable. I will say that. Like, there's no way we can repeat how well we did last year. It would just, the math doesn't check out. I know we're going to do worse this year, but I mean, we can still do a lot worse this year and still be profitable. Okay, so now Courtney is up at the beginning of the 16th, followed by Florida. Okay, so now I think what we actually really want to be doing here is I think we take Phillip Lindsay, given the fact that if we take Phillip Lindsay, we get our 5th running back. We're kind of set at wide receiver where we already have 7 guys, and we're not going to have to take a second tight end after going with Mark Andrews and Mike Gesicki. So we're going to have an extra spot for a receiver. We're going to take Phillip Lindsay here as our 5th running back. Maybe we're done with running back. It's mainly going to depend on the value that we see later on at the position. But we have 2 more roster spots. I think one of them is definitely devoted to the wide receiver position. And then we can figure out where we're going with the other one based on value. Also, guys, we are about to see 300 likes on the live stream. Thank you so much for everybody going down there and dropping that like. And also, we haven't said this in about 20 minutes, so you know I have to hit you with it. Our next draft is going to be on Underdog Fantasy. The reason we are drafting on Underdog Fantasy is twofold. A, they decided to give everybody that used promo code FLOCK a free $25 when they made a $10 deposit. B, the most important reason is they decided to sponsor our 2021 draft guide, where I know a lot of people are selling their draft guides for like $50 or whatever it is. I would make the argument that our draft guide's probably a lot better. And instead of you paying $50 and never seeing that $50 again, instead, all you have to do is take 10 of your dollars, move it over to Underdog, make an account there, get paid $25 to do so, then have $35 on your account. You don't even have to hop in a draft with us, but of course, I would love for you to hop in a draft with us. You get our draft guide, you get a free $25. You get the best way you can practice fantasy football drafting, where you're going up against real people with real money on the line, and it really costs you nothing at all. You're getting paid to do so. Now, please, I have no idea why they are offering this, but I can guarantee you this is not going to be something that is offered that long. Okay, so now, after Lindsay at the 1604, not too many players that we would be intrigued with go directly after. I mean, we want to see some tight ends go because we're done at tight end. I think that after going Andrews, after going Gesicki, we really invested too much into the tight end position where we can't continue to go that route. EZL says, is the next draft $5? I'm going to wait until we get done with this draft. We'll probably ask in the last round of this one, and I'll just say, hey, what do y'all want to do for the next draft? Are we going to do 5? Are we going to do 50? Are we going to do 100? And then y'all can kind of vote in the chat, and based on what y'all want, then I'll go set it up. So yeah, don't let me know right now. I'll definitely ask you. And then what we usually do is I'll just go through and I'll read 5, 50, 100, and I'll just read it out loud as fast as I can. And usually you'll be able to tell just from what I'm reading over and over and over again, what more people want. Steven says, get me verified. Yeah, like I said, guys, it actually takes Underdog Fantasy because they're giving you a free $25. They can't be giving a free $25 to like 10 of your accounts. So they have to verify that you're a real person and you haven't made an account before when you use promo code FLOCK. So it's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes for you to get verified. That's why it's very important that you go down there and you set up that account right now when there's about 10 minutes left in this mock draft and about 10 minutes left for me to set up our next draft. So I just sent out a link in the live chat. It's also in the description below. So make sure you join Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you deposit $10 with promo code FLOCK, and then you're going to get that draft guide. You're going to get a free $25. But more importantly, they can verify your identity. That way, when it is time for us to come out here with our next draft, you can hop in it. Okay, so now we are on the clock at the 17:09. It does suck to see those quarterbacks there. Possibly we go QB. Would it be that bad to get a third quarterback on a team where we went Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones? What wide receivers are available? Because the Zach Wilson and the Sam Darnold are very appealing here. Maybe we go Byron Pringle, given the fact that he's running over to Marcus Robinson in camp right now. Okay, we're going to go Pringle. Okay, we got him in. I almost timed out. That took me a second to get. I would have not made that pick last week. I actually probably would have made a DeMarcus Robinson selection last week. I really wanted KJ Hamler to fall to us. Y'all know how big of a fan I am of KJ Hamler. Now Cam Newton goes at the 17-11. But yeah, with DeMarcus Robinson, I thought that he was going to be the wide receiver 3 in Kansas City. And y'all know I talk a lot about people not understanding what you need to take away from training camp. But what you do need to take away from training camp are the actual roles that these players have on the field, where if you hear a beat reporter say, oh, wide receiver X looks the best he's ever looked before, that doesn't mean anything. That literally is just someone looking at something and going, oh, this is what I think. That beat reporter maybe has only seen that wide receiver play 5 hours in his life before. It doesn't matter at all. Or, oh my God, yeah, Jamar Chase make the best catch in camp today. Of course, Jamar Chase is going to make one of the best catches in camp today. Jamar Chase is a great wide receiver. That's why he's being drafted so high. Don't let that affect his ADP. But when we get some news of saying, hey, Byron Pringle's running over DeMarcus Robinson. Pringle is the guy that you want in Kansas City. I mean, that's how he's playing snaps with Patrick Mahomes. That's when you go, okay, crap. Maybe I like DeMarcus Robinson a little bit more beforehand, but of course we're wrong all the time. So that's something that we do need to go through and adjust. Okay, so I could be wrong here. I am very willing to admit that I may be wrong, but I think we possibly take a third quarterback. So if we go QB, we're going to go with a Sam Darnold. If we go wide receiver, we would probably go with an Adam Humphries, given the reports that he is supposedly getting a lot of usage in camp and the snaps are going to be there. I think we go Sam Darnold. It's something that I would love if we have someone that feels very comfortable with the best ball format in the chat right now. I would love to hear your opinion on it, but I think Sam Darnold's actually going to be our best play there. That is something that I cannot tell you to look at my Sam Darnold pick and me decide to go QB over wide receiver with this team construction. I can't tell you to do that exact same thing in your draft. My initial thoughts are it's the correct decision, but it's something I don't know for sure. So I don't want to say to do that in every draft. Okay, so now let me go through and let me show y'all the very top of the draft board. Let me go to the bottom as well so y'all can get some screenshots. Yeah, so you can rewind it a little bit, look at what the top looked like. Once we get close to this, I am going to end this. I'm going to go to set up a new draft. Okay, so guys, let me hear what y'all want. Do y'all want a $5, $50, or $100 draft? I think we're going to judge how many drafts we're doing tonight based on the amount of likes that the live stream has. So just make sure you let me know what y'all want. And oh my God, Jimmy Garoppolo and Tyrod Taylor going here is just horrendous. Okay, Dynamic. Okay, Dynamic has a dead team. This is maybe something good that we took Sam Darnold because we just killed a team in this draft. he has to take Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback 2. You're not winning one of these leagues with Tyrod Taylor as your quarterback 2 and only having 2 quarterbacks. Okay, so yeah, let's go through. Y'all don't need, I know people are going to get mad, but I don't think we need to see the last 2 picks in this draft. Oh, Kenneth Gainwell goes in one of the last ones. Let me switch this over so I can exit out this draft room and I can go get us set up with a new one. Let me read the live chat real quick to see what y'all want for this next draft. Like I said, guys, we're possibly going to be doing more drafts after this. I'm going to be reading these out loud. Let me scroll up. Okay, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 50, 5, 5, 50. 5, 50, 5, 5, 5, 50, 5, 5, 5. Okay, we're gonna do a $5 draft, my dudes. No, we're doing a $5 draft. Okay. So let me go grab that and set it up. What I'll say is I'm going to say in the live chat, so you know it's the private draft to join, I'm going to say this is our $5 draft. It's going to be very clear in the chat. Jayan says do a poll for 5 first. Okay, actually that's a way better idea, Jayan. I am an idiot. We're doing a poll right now on the channel, and what league size do y'all want? Okay. I'm going to ask this in a poll. I'm assuming that it's going to be a 50, but I'm just double checking. Okay, so let me go. I just asked that in the poll. Let's see what y'all are saying. I'll just let it run for about 10 seconds before we decide to do a 5 or a 50. Okay. So looks like the majority of people are voting for the $5. We're at 78% for 5. Okay, now 62% for 5. What is this going to? Okay. Yeah, there's 91 votes on it. We have over 50% for 5. We're doing a $5 one. Maybe we can do a $50 one after this one. Okay, so now let me go get this set up. And guys, like I said, we're going to be doing this literally every single night leading up until the season. So if you're watching this as a video later on, and you go, oh God, I wish I would have gotten one of those drafts. Just set your account up right now with promo code FLOCK. Get your $25 free loaded on. That way you can come out and you can participate in the next draft. And yeah, like I said, just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're hitting that bell so you can come out at the very beginning, increase your chances of getting in. And we're going to be doing like 3 or 4 of these every single night. So if you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, you're getting in one of these. Okay, so now let me go through $5 draft, sending this out in the live chat right now. Okay, I just sent that out. I'm sure that's going to get filled in literally about 3 seconds. So let me switch this back over here so y'all can, okay, y'all can't even see the top of it. Okay, everybody, drop a like. Get us the 101. Give us some luck. 1, 2, 3, drop that like. Let's get the 101. CMC. The 104. Okay. So here we're either going to get Devontae Adams or Alvin Kamara, whoever falls to us. We've drafted from the 104 so much. I know a lot of people want to say that the 104 is a good draft pick, but I'm honestly maybe just a little burnt out of it. Maybe I'm just a little tired of drafting at the 104. Okay, so now let's go through. D. Larso says, filled up faster than a mother effer. Yes, sir. This filled up very fast. That's why I said, okay, let me see who got in here. Okay, so let me see if we have, okay, Chaos gets in here. So SPAC is in one back-to-back. Then let's go through and see. Zebo's in. Zebo was in last night. Jonah's been in a few of these before. Lank Dog has been in a few of these before. The other names, FBG, I kind of recognize. Washer, I recognize. I don't think I recognize these 2 names, the 101 and the 102. I apologize if you were in a draft another night. I kind of just pride myself on how good our memory is, which is some random weird things, but I don't remember. Please let me know in the live chat. Okay, JKR says, got the number 1, baby. My man, congrats on that CMC team. You can construct a roster with CMC better than really anything else. Okay, so now we're on the 104. So we're going to take Devontae Adams here. So that's definitely something I need to change in our rankings. As of now, we do have Alvin Kamara at the 103, Devontae Adams at the 104, but I think we are going to make that update. We are going to end up moving Devontae Adams to the 103. We're going to move Alvin Kamara down to the 104. Derrick Henry is actually my 105. I can't take Derrick Henry, a 27-year-old running back coming off 800 touches the past 2 years. I can't take him here when he's not going to catch passes. He doesn't have the same type of upside that an Alvin Kamara has. Okay, Max says, with the poll, there are more than enough votes to fill up a 50. Well, now that we were able to do a 5, we'll do another poll after this one and see if more of those people are wanting to do a 50 versus a $5 draft. Okay, so let me go through. You guys, like I said, if you did not get into this one, we're going to be doing another one after this based on the fact that we got 330 likes in this live stream. So honestly, I was kind of hoping that y'all weren't going to drop an insane amount of likes in the live stream because I was hoping we were going to save my voice a little bit for tomorrow night. But yeah, we're doing at the very minimum a third one. I believe we have we've had a total based on looking at this number right now, 3.5 thousand views in this live stream. So it's not crazy for me to ask this. I think if we're going to do let's focus on that later on. If we get to a crazy amount of likes, maybe we'll do a fourth, but I doubt it. I think after this one, we'll probably do one more after this one. Okay, so now Tyreek Hill at the 108. Okay, so let's go through. Okay, Stephon Diggs at the 109. Barkley goes to the 110. So Saquon Barkley, definitely a faller. I mean, I think it's due to the injury reports. We were taking Saquon Barkley at the 109 in the last draft. I still stand by the fact that I think Barkley should go at the 109. I think Barkley should actually go maybe a little earlier than that, to be honest. Spack says, Underdog is only 0.5 PPR, though. Yes, sir, I understand that Underdog is only 0.5 PPR. Still doesn't change that much for me. Okay, so Austin says, how does it work when you sign up with Underdog with your code? Okay, so my man, we've explained this 5 times before, but I'm happy to explain it again, even though I know the people in the chat are so annoyed with me. So what happens when you sign up for Underdog with promo code FLOCK and you use that $10 deposit to get your extra $25 with promo code FLOCK is if you also want our 2021 draft guide, all you have to do is shoot me a DM on either Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, Discord. It doesn't matter. You can DM me anywhere. You can look up my email. It's all in the description of the video. As long as you send me a message, I am going to see it. I check them literally throughout the entire day, where the majority of the time you send me a message, you're getting a reply within 30 minutes. And I'll say, thank you, my man. When you send me that message, make sure you include the email that you signed up with. That way I can confirm that you deposited $10 with promo code FLOCK. And I'll go, thank you so much for supporting the show. Here's the draft guide, my man. Let me know if you need anything else from me. And I promise you, I'm going to be sending all those messages out. We stayed up until like 1:30 a.m. last night sending those messages out and talking with people through DMs. And tonight we're going to be doing the same thing. Okay, now let's go through and Antonio Gibson, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones. So when we go Devontae Adams in the 104, we are putting ourselves in a spot where we can't necessarily afford to just go wide receiver in the second and third round, because that's going to kind of kill us at running back. So we would like to see a running back that we like fall back to us at the 209. But of course, now that we say this, I'm sure that these teams are a little more likely to go, well, let's take a running back, because who cares about Mason? Okay. So AJ Brown goes to the 206. Okay, so we have AJ Brown, DK Metcalf sliding up these draft boards. You've seen these two wide receivers going at the 2-3 turn. Okay, so let's see what we are going to end up getting here. Come on. Give us someone we want. Give us somebody we want here. Justin Jefferson. Okay, so this is a wide receiver heavy draft. Maybe that makes us feel real good about our Calvin Ridley pick at the 104. Okay, so now let's see where Washer decides to go after taking Alvin Kamara at the 105. He goes Joe Mixon. So a running back that we recently moved down to our 207, and a lot of people were telling us that we were still too high on him. Jonathan Taylor. Here we're going to take Jonathan Taylor. I think in a vacuum, we most likely prefer Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a full PPR format. But given the fact that this is a half PPR, I think we make a slight adjustment, and we do take Jonathan Taylor there at the 209. So please let me know what y'all think about this start. Going Devontae Adams at the 104, Jonathan Taylor at the 209. If it was a full PPR format, I most likely would have gone Clyde Edwards-Helaire at a half PPR. I think we are fine with a Jonathan Taylor. So this is a fascinating draft. Okay, so the CMC team ends up getting CEH at the 212. That is fantastic value. Now let's see where he decides to go at the beginning of the third. Maybe this is going to be a wide receiver heavy draft. This could easily be a wide receiver heavy draft. Keenan Allen at the 301. We are about to pass 350 likes on the live stream. Thank you, my dudes. And y'all know how we titled this stream My Best Draft Ever? It looks like this draft may be my best draft ever. Adams at the 104, Taylor at the 209. Let's see what comes to us in the third. So Darren Waller was the guy we were wanting. I was praying that Darren Waller was going to fall to us. I really thought we were getting it. That's what I was kind of saying about. I think that would have been our best draft ever if we were able to pull that off. Okay. So Darren Waller, fantastic selection here. Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, I would have gone with Darren Waller over Najee Harris, to be honest. I mean, if you get Dalvin Cook at the 102, you already have that advantage at running back. So Chaos goes with Chris Carson there. So Chris Carson's going all the way there, and these teams took wide receiver heavy. Do we try to get sneaky here? No, we're not going to try to get sneaky. We just go George Kittle. It's either going to be between George Kittle or CeeDee Lamb, but based on the fact that we already have Davante Adams on this team, I think we can't afford to just go George Kittle. What's great about George Kittle in an underdog format, like we have talked about so many times before, is he allows you to only have to take 2 tight ends, which of course helps you so much from a roster construction standpoint, which definitely matters here. So going with a George Kittle is going to set us up to take more wide receivers later on in this draft. So we have a very balanced start so far. Adams in the first, Taylor in the second, Kittle in the third. Let me know what y'all are thinking about that, my dudes. Okay. So Jesse says, hey, Mason, what's your reasoning on drafting Davante Adams at the 104 instead of a running back? I actually just made a video about that. If you go back, if you look at a video that has Aaron Jones on the thumbnail, I believe it was uploaded either yesterday or the day before. But essentially, when we're taking a Davante Adams over an Alvin Kamara, over an Ezekiel Elliott, over a Saquon Barkley, over an Austin Eckler, we're essentially saying that if you look at Davante Adams' season last year, and you go through and you look at his per game numbers when he was healthy, if you take away week 2, whenever he left early due to that ankle injury, Davante Adams actually averaged close to 27.5 points per game. If you make that a 16-game season, Davante Adams put up the best wide receiver season of all time last year, and it wasn't even close. And that is what's significant, because it wasn't even close that Davante Adams was the best wide receiver of all time in fantasy last year. He was better than 2007 Randy Moss. And now what we need to understand is, of course, Davante Adams is not going to be as good as he was last year. It's impossible. If he was as good as he was last year, he would be back-to-back the best wide receiver of all time. No, mathematically speaking, the touchdowns are going to come down because he actually averaged 1.28 touchdowns per game last year, which is not sustainable. But what you're going to see is we actually went through and we removed 10% of his production on a per-game basis last year and went, where does he stand in fantasy now? And he was still the best wide receiver of all time. So if you go through to go, okay, well, let's take away 15 to 20% of his production last year, which is a good chunk. If you're saying Davante Adams is only going to be 80 to 85 to just say 80 to 85% of what he was last year, you're not necessarily giving him a fair just assessment. And even if you're doing that, he is still the wide receiver 1 in fantasy. So Davante Adams has showed us the ceiling and floor combination where you don't have to worry about him in the first round. Where Alvin Kamara, you have to worry about Taysom Hill. With Ezekiel Elliott, he saw a drop-off in efficiency last year that was just nothing that we have seen through his entire career so far. He's actually second in active running back touches, only behind Mark Ingram for his career. Then when you have a Saquon Barkley, you have the injury concerns. When you have a Derrick Henry, you have the fact that he's had over 800 touches over the past 2 years, and he's 27 and a half years old. So Davante Adams, we're actually going to be moving him up to the 103 in our rankings, because I think CMC, Dalvin Cook at the running back position, they both have elite upside, and you have no questions about either running back. But beyond that, you have running backs with elite upside, but they have red flags. Davante Adams has elite upside and no red flags. So I know you're going to see a lot of drafts Davante Adams go in the late first, and I'm just saying that that should never happen. You should always be trying to get Davante Adams earlier than that. Okay, so now Jacobs at the 406. Jacobs would have been in play for me here if he fell this late. Okay, Ahad comes out and says, hey, Mason, serious question. Do you like pineapple on pizza? It's okay, my dudes. I will say that I actually worked at a pizza place for a while, and I had some pizza today in Tampa. That was the best pizza I've had in years. Now, I'm a weird pizza eater, where my favorite pizzas, my favorite food period, I don't know how many of y'all have tried it, would be like a barbecue chicken pizza where the sauce is barbecue sauce. Then you have chicken on top of it. You have ranch bacon. It's the best thing ever. And what is the second best thing ever is getting Amari Cooper at the end of the 4th round. So this draft so far, we have gone, oh my God. This is possibly one of our best drafts ever. I'm not going to have to change the title of the stream after this. I mean, we have Adams in the 1st, Taylor in the 2nd, Kittle in the 3rd, Amari Cooper in the 4th. Oh my God, guys. Y'all are letting me get away with this? How are y'all going to let me do this to you? This should not be legal. Y'all are just letting me embarrass you on stream like this. Let me go back to this team right here that started out wide receiver, then went Mike Davis in the 4th. That Mike Davis pick in the 4th ahead of Julio Jones, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper is so bad that I think the problem is you kind of have to go Mike Davis there when you go wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. I would much prefer having Miles Sanders. If you take Miles Sanders over Terry McLaurin, I would prefer Miles Sanders and Julio Jones compared to Terry McLaurin and Mike Davis, and it isn't really close. I think you should have gone with Miles Sanders in the third. Okay. So Ben says In-N-Out is the best burger on the West Coast. My man, we had In-N-Out in Austin, and I grew up in Texas my entire life where everybody that I knew just wanted to say, oh, Whataburger's the best thing on the planet. Whataburger's the best thing ever. We all love Whataburger. And In-N-Out is by far and away the best burger you could ever have. It doesn't matter if you go to like a steakhouse and pay $30 for a burger. It's not going to be as good as In-N-Out. I literally had to tell my girlfriend, I was like, you cannot allow me to get a burger anywhere but In-N-Out or I'm just going to be pissed. Okay, so now let's go through. We are at the 504. We have the flexibility of really going anywhere we want. We're going to get our second running back on this team. We are going to reach just slightly. We're going to be bringing in Travis Etienne at the 504. Travis Etienne, a running back very similar to DeAndre Swift, very similar to Alvin Kamara, very similar to Aaron Jones. No, he is not going to get every running back touch in that backfield. You're going to have James Robinson. You're going to have Carlos Hyde stealing carries between the 20s. But those aren't valuable carries to begin with. Travis Etienne is going to be getting the valuable touches. He's going to get targeted out of the backfield. He's going to get usage in the red zone. At least we're praying that he gets usage in the red zone. If we knew he was getting usage in the red zone for sure, I'd be drafting him in the third. But here in the fifth, I think that is a perfectly fine pick. We're taking him right before Deontay Johnson and Odell Beckham Jr. I'm not necessarily too sad on what we have to pass up. Okay, Steven says Five Guys burger is much better. My man, I'm not lying. I just had Five Guys for the first time in years whenever I was going back and forth with Home Depot trying to fix this sign. And I remember thinking so fondly of Five Guys burgers. I went and I paid over $10 for one burger. I didn't get fries. I didn't get anything. I paid over $10 for it. And I am very much of a cheap ass. Like I look at a price tag. That's all I think about over and over and over again. The only thing I'm willing to spend money on is fantasy football drafts. So I paid $10 on it. I remember thinking whenever I was 12 and I had it, I go, okay, this is the best burger I've ever had. I get it. And it was a $10 burger that was worse than In-N-Out. In-N-Out has the best burger on the planet. I'm from Texas. I know people are going to hate me for saying this. I grew up in Texas my entire life. Whataburger cannot hold a candle to it. I literally had In-N-Out about an hour ago. I had Five Guys about an hour ago. In-N-Out's better. I literally own multiple In-N-Out shirts. And if you see me in real life, there's a good shot that I'm just rocking In-N-Out because, that is a fine establishment. I will tell you that right now. I'm going to ask something in the live chat real quick. I'm going to ask a poll. Best burger. Let's go. In and out. Five Guys. Whataburger. Who cares? Talk football. Okay, we're sending that poll out in the chat. Make sure everybody goes down there and checks that. Okay, so Lamar Jackson falls all the way to the 5'11". I am fine taking Lamar Jackson at the 5'11". Josh Allen goes at the 5'12". Okay, so you have these quarterbacks falling pretty damn far. I think that a lot of times I want to be taking this wide receiver range over the elite quarterbacks unless we're getting a stack. But yeah, I think that getting a Lamar or an Allen, even if you don't get the stack, if you're getting him at the very end of the fifth round, that is fine. Okay, Kyle Pitts at the 601. Okay, so Kyle Pitts at the 601. If I'm ever going to draft Kyle Pitts in a fantasy draft this year, it'll be in the 6th round. I'm telling you that. Okay, so now let's go through. Let's check out where this poll is doing. I also added an option saying, who cares, just talk football. Okay, that's only at 15%. Okay, you just had to make sure I'm not pissing off too many people talking about burgers here. Okay, at least most people aren't voting for Whataburger because I am a Whataburger hater. And I got so much crap from my friends growing up. To a point, it was not fun. Okay, so Kyle Pitts, Tyler Boyd at the 601, 602. Ricky says J.K. Dobbins at the 210 is way too early. My man, I agree with you. J.K. Dobbins at the 210 is way, 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 way too early. If you look at how Lamar Jackson does not target running backs going out of his backfield, what you have to understand is this is SPAC. SPAC actually took J.K. Dobbins at the 206 in the last draft, which is even worse. So I didn't want to make fun of him for the J.K. Dobbins pick at the 210 when we already made fun of him for the J.K. Dobbins pick at the 206. JN comes out and says, wow, Mason. That's pretty funny. Eazel says, best pizza chain poll. No, I think we've had enough of the food talks, my dudes. We're going to end that poll real quick. And I'll get a pizza poll going in tomorrow's live stream. So if you want to participate in the pizza poll live stream, you better make sure you're subscribed. You better make sure you have that notification bell on. That way you come out. Okay, so now Kareem Hunt goes to the 607. We would have been taking Kareem Hunt as our third running back if he would have fallen. Okay, so now we are on the clock. We get sniped on Dak Prescott. We'd have loved Dak Prescott there. We're going to take a faller in drafts right now. I understand that Javonte Williams is falling, given the reports about Melvin Gordon. And I think there's some validity to the Melvin Gordon reports, but we really have to understand the last thing that you can tell a starting veteran running back when you have a rookie coming in is, hey man, you're getting replaced right away. Don't plan on really doing anything this year. No, I mean, I kind of made the reference in the example in one of our other live streams when we drafted Javonte Williams. Do you think that they replace accountants at their jobs by bringing in an intern that graduated from an Ivy League school and saying, hey, John, I'm sorry, thanks for working at the company for 15 years, but you're gone on Sunday? No, what they do is they bring in the new younger guy, and instead they go, hey, John, you're going to be working with the younger guy. He's going to just be helping you out, blah, blah, blah. The younger guy's then going to learn his job. Then they're going to tell John a year later, go, hey, man, I'm sorry. You've had it. I mean, thank you for your time at the company. You're gone. That's kind of what's going on with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams here. But being an NFL running back, it's not the same as being an accountant. Your life is like that. So I believe by week 5, week 6, Javonte Williams is in there. Javonte Williams is taking over. Okay, so Jerry Jeudy at the 702. Okay, so at the 704, let's go. Justin Herbert. Okay, so now the pick here is definitely wide receiver. I think Cortland Sutton's fallen down draft boards for me. Devontae Smith, we don't have any news with the injury. I think we actually end up no, we're just going to go. Do we want Michael Gallup or Juju? We're going to get Juju. If we would have been able to get Dak Prescott in the last round, Michael Gallup would have been a no-brainer pick, but I don't want to be loading up on multiple pass-catching wide receivers for the Cowboys if we have no shot at their quarterback. So we are going to get Juju at the 704. We're going to give Washer, who sniped us on Dak Prescott. He gets Michael Gallup. You're welcome for that gift, my man. You are welcome for that gift. The only reason I gave you that gift is because you used promo code FLOCK to join Underdog Fantasy. You got that $25 bonus for a $10 deposit, and you got our 2021 draft guide. That's why I gave you Michael Gallup, my man. Okay. I see we got some Chick-fil-A talk in the chat. Oh, trust me, guys. I have some strong opinions on a Chick-fil-A sandwich. But like I said, we've talked enough about food in this stream. We will be talking about, we'll talk about either Chick-fil-A or we'll talk about pizza tomorrow. We'll get those talks going on the 5th. But for now, let's just go through. Let's stick to football, as much as I hate to say it. But, I mean, I'll run out of things to talk about really quickly if we want to go through. So I got to keep some stuff up my sleeve. So let's keep our Chick-fil-A discussions up my sleeve just for tomorrow. That way I can get y'all back here. Okay, so now let's go through. Lucas says he gets Lamb and Gallup. Okay, so Washer actually does come away with a fantastic stack. Okay, so he didn't just snipe us on a Dak Prescott. I thought he sniped us on a Dak Prescott to be mean to us pretty much. But no, he got CeeDee Lamb in the 3rd. He gets Michael Gallup in the 7th. My man, honestly, if I recognized that you had the Dak Prescott stack with the CeeDee Lamb, I probably would have sniped you on Michael Gallup just as you did with Dak Prescott and us. Now, I am glad that we ended up going with the wide receiver in Juju Smith-Schuster here, given the fact that you have that slight wide receiver run going afterwards and a fast riser in these drafts. You have A.J. Dillon going at the 709. Okay, so Steven says, did you turn on subscriber only? Yes, everybody in the chat right now that is talking is a subscriber of the channel. Also, guys, we are about to pass 400 likes on the live stream. That is absolutely massive. I promise you, I'll be getting us another draft going after this. If you want to hop in the next draft, make sure you go deposit $10 on Underdog Fantasy. Get your free $25 when you use promo code FLOCK. And when you use promo code FLOCK as well, if you want our draft guide, where I know a lot of people are selling their draft guides for like $50, $60, $70, we're not. All I'm asking you to do is not even buy it with $10. I'm asking you to move 10 of your existing dollars just over to Underdog so you can become a better fantasy football player. You can go through some real drafts. They'll give you $25 as well. That's why I'm not selling my draft guide this year. My dudes, I am so proud of that draft guide and we put in so much work, but I can't ethically sell it for $50, $60 when there's an option for someone to go through and just deposit $10 on Underdog with promo code FLOCK. I mean, it's literally makes way too much sense for y'all to go out there and do that. I mean, it's a win-win-win for everybody. I would argue the only loser is maybe Underdog Fantasy. I have no idea why they're letting us do it. Okay, Nathan says, how do you feel about CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson? Okay, what do you mean J-Jet? Is J-Jet not Justin Jefferson? Okay. Ben says, Mason, when did your channel blow up? It hasn't blown up yet, my man. I'll tell you that. We're hitting 100,000 subscribers this year. Y'all are just at the beginning. Y'all are on stage 2 of takeoff. Okay. We are like, what we are doing right now is over the past year, we've been putting together like the ship. Okay. We've been going through, not the ship. We've been putting up the space shuttle, right? Now we have the missile. We're putting the missile on the launch. I think it's already on there. We're kind of ready to go. I'm getting dressed up. Y'all know my little suit where we're putting it on. That's my astronaut suit going into space. We're getting into the shuttle. In about 2 to 3 weeks, I promise you, that is when we're taking off. At the end of August, we are going to be skyrocketing towards 100,000 subscribers because, I mean, look at the support y'all showed this channel. Y'all showed this channel more support than anybody else would ever. I mean, if any other channel had a sponsorship with Underdog Fantasy that happened at the same time and they did the same thing as us, I guarantee you they would not get as much support from their audience as y'all give to me. And that's nothing to do with me. That's 100% due to y'all. And y'all are what is driving this channel. And what is driving my draft right now is the fact that we get Antonio Brown in the 8th round as our wide receiver 4. Look at this draft board. We get Devontae Adams in the 1st. We get Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd, Kittle in the 3rd, Amari, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Juju, and Antonio Brown. This is unbelievable. That is a ridiculous start to a draft. Like I said, guys, we titled this draft our best draft ever. This may be just that. I mean, if we can go through, if we can close on it, I mean, I wish this was a $100 draft. This is only a $5 one. I'm kind of pissed that y'all didn't allow me to set it up to be a $50 one at the minimum. But hey, at least we're getting these reps in. I think we are becoming a much, much, much better drafter as we go through and we progress with these because, I mean, we're closing in on a ton of drafts this offseason. We're going to be at probably 200 drafts by the time it's all said and done. John says, Mason, have you ever tried a guillotine league? Yes, sir. A long time ago. I understand the thought process behind it. I think if I had a bunch of buddies, it would be really fun to play fantasy. I mean, if I knew a bunch of people in real life, but nobody I know in real life plays fantasy football. And isn't that kind of the funniest thing ever that nobody I know in real life plays fantasy football? And it's literally the only thing I do in real life 24/7. I mean, I wake up. SPAC, I think you're getting banned from the chat. I think you're getting banned. First, the AJ Dillon incident. Now you snipe us on Aaron Rodgers. I think we're having a ban SPAC. We're taking Hollywood Brown as our wide receiver 5, but not happy about it in the slightest. I mean, the pick there was going to be Aaron Rodgers, so we can stack him with a Devontae Adams as our wide receiver. I mean, as our quarterback 1. That was almost a no-brainer decision. I felt like we couldn't reach on Aaron Rodgers there, considering the fact that both SPAC and Corey already had quarterbacks on their team. Joe Burrow was still the best available quarterback according to ADP. So I thought we were really a lock to actually get Aaron Rodgers falling back to us in the 904. I wasn't trying to talk about it because I knew that someone was going to snipe us on the stream if we did bring him up. But what we're going to do is I'm going to actually invite does anybody in here know Photoshop? Is anybody in here fluent at Photoshop where I can post a screenshot of this team after the draft and we can switch Hollywood Brown and Aaron Rodgers at the 903, 904 and you can change these numbers so nobody knows? Because I think we're going to have to do that because this draft was damn near perfect if we would have got Aaron Rodgers at the 904. Okay, that was... Yeah, Alan says, LOL, he already had Herbert. Caleb says, LOL, he didn't even need Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, guys, I know. That's why I thought we could get Antonio Brown in the 8th and get Aaron Rodgers coming back to us in the 9th. That is ridiculous. It's back in the chat right now, my man. Noah in the chat says, checked out the guide for the first time today, and it's awesome. My man, I'm really, really happy that you enjoyed it. We've gotten so many positive comments about the draft guide. And guys, to be completely honest, I don't want your positive comments about the draft guide. Now, it's very nice. Thank you, Noah, for saying that in the chat. I'm very proud of the work that we put into it. But given the fact that this was our first draft guide release ever for a full football season, now we've released Dynasty rookie draft guides before, 100 plus pages, and you're actually getting that as well. You're getting an in-depth draft guide for the 2021 rookie draft class that bases it on historical research for what you found with prospects coming into the NFL, fitting certain prototypes. you're getting that as well. But this is our first full draft guide for an entire football year. And while we put so much work into it throughout the entire offseason, and I'm extremely proud about it, I know that based on it being our first one, there are going to be a million things that I can improve going into next year's. So while I genuinely do appreciate everybody telling me how much they love this draft guide, what I am begging y'all to do is I want you to be unfiltered. Once you finish reading the draft guide, I want you to get me your honest opinion about anything that I can do to make it better for next year. Because that is clearly, if you watch the live streams, when I look back at my drafts, I know I'm drooling over this draft right now just because I am very excited about it. But 99% of my drafts, you watch them and I go back and I go, where did we mess up? What can we do better for next time so we can get better? That's what I'm wanting to do here with the draft guide, where I'm very proud of the draft guide that we have in 2021, but I want our 2022 draft guide to be even better. I want our 2023 draft guide to be better than that. So if you've already gotten the draft guide, or you plan on using promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, and then you're going to get one in the future, please give me your honest critiques on what I can do to make it better for 2022, because that's going to be extremely valuable for me. Okay. So Lance says, how do I redeem the draft guide? My man, if you go through, use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, get your $25 bonus and our draft guide. You just have to shoot me a DM on either Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Patreon. It's all in the description of the video. I check all of them like on a 30-minute rotation now that we're sending these draft guides out all day. So you'll get a reply from me very fast. Essentially, all I need from you is I need you to send me your email that you signed up with so I can confirm that you signed up for Underdog Fantasy and that you want the draft guide, and then I'll send it directly to that email. Chris says, where does Chris Godwin rank in your draft guide? Let me go through. The problem is I don't want to pull that up on the live stream right now. So let me try to pull it up on a separate window. Okay, I think we can pull it up on a second. I need multiple monitors to the live stream, to be honest. I mean, my computer is pretty big, but I could use multiple monitors. So if we pull up my updated wide receiver rankings real quick to check out where Chris Godwin's ranked, and also we have tiers there, of course, as well. So I'll tell you the exact range. I'm not going to share my screen because I don't want everybody to just have that access, but we are going to be on the clock real quick. We should have probably not been looking at that much. We desperately need a quarterback. We're going to get Trey Lance here. I know Trey Lance appears to be a reach. We're taking him over Tom Brady, but a big thing is I think Trey Lance starts a lot earlier than most people assume. This is a quarterback that actually has elite rushing upside going into a fantastic situation. If there's anything that you ever take away from this channel this offseason, if there's anything that you take away from watching one of my live streams, one of my videos, or anything this offseason, is that you need to be aggressively drafting Trey Lance in fantasy. This is going to be a player that comes out and automatically lights the world on fire in 2021. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo starts for the first week or two, but out of the last 10 quarterbacks that were drafted in the top 3 picks of the NFL draft, 9 out of 10 of them were starting by week 4. And none of them were going into situations as good as what Trey Lance has in San Francisco. So Trey Lance at the 10.09. I am excited about that pick. We stack him with George Kittle. I know it's a reach, but I mean, he's my guy. I love Trey Lance. I love him with a passion. And if there's anything you ever take away from this channel, it's that you need to be drafting Trey Lance this year, because I want people to look back on this year and go, oh, thank God Mason told me to draft Trey Lance. And also, if Trey Lance busts, guys, hey, he's a rookie quarterback. What do you expect? No, I'm joking. If Trey Lance busts, you can hold me to it. You can talk about in every single live draft next year. Hey, Mason, remember what you told me about Trey Lance? You're an idiot. You're stupid. You know nothing. And I will sit here and I'll say, yes, you're right. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I don't know anything. And I'll tell this story about Trey Lance. But at the same time, when he comes out and when he destroys fantasy football this year, you have to give me my credit where credit is due. And here we're going to get the quarterback that we passed up on at the same time. We are going to get Tom Brady as well to get us going through the beginning of the year. Then we get the Trey Lance upside at the end of the year. So let me share this screen real quick for everybody, where in the first we took Devontae Adams, in the second Taylor, third Kittle, fourth Amari, fifth Etienne, sixth Javonte Williams, then Juju, Antonio Brown, Hollywood Brown, Trey Lance, Tom Brady. I love this start. Now, what is going to be a little interesting is the fact that we actually have 2 of those rookie running backs, and they're not necessarily going to be seeing the exact roles we want from them right away. So we definitely need to make sure we're getting running backs that are going to be productive at the beginning of the season later on. So yeah, that's something we need to keep an eye out for. But I think beyond that, I mean, this draft is killer. And getting back to our Chris Godwin rank, my dudes, I'm pulling it up right now. I actually have Chris Godwin ranked as our wide receiver 13. I have him directly behind Robert Woods, CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson, and I have him directly ahead of Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, and Mike Evans. So yes, I do have Chris Godwin over Terry McLaurin for this upcoming season. Now, you may see me draft Terry McLaurin in one of these drafts over Chris Godwin. Just know it's because I have Terry McLaurin in 0 leagues, and I'm going to have Chris Godwin in a lot of them. Alan says, love the Lance pick. My man, thank you for that support, my man. Okay. So, Irv Smith Jr. at the 11-10. Mike says, Mason is dead if Trey Lance and Travis Etienne bust. Yes, I mean, we have a ton tied into Trey Lance and Travis Etienne, especially in Dynasty football, where I was extremely aggressive on them this offseason, but as well for 2021 football. Nathan says, a fun stream. I'm going to crush y'all in the next draft. My man, I am looking forward to it. So we will, from now on, I can't believe we weren't using the poll function in the live chat. JN, thank you for that call, my man. We are definitely going to be doing that from now on. So after we get to the end of this draft, I will ask a question. I'll put up a poll in the live chat to ask, do y'all want a $5, a $50, or a $100 draft? And y'all can tell me what y'all want. Okay, Captain says, do you only do drafts on underdogs? I'm from Louisiana and can't draft on there. So yes, I am very sorry, my man. Due to this partnership with Underdog, I think it fits the channel perfectly to a point where I'm going to be drafting through Underdog the entire offseason leading up until the year. On our Dynasty Fantasy Football channel run through Patreon, there will be drafting on other sites to give other people overseas and in states that is restricted an opportunity to get in. But on this channel, every live stream that we are going to be doing is going to be very consistent, where I want everybody to be taking advantage of our draft guide offer and everything that we are having. And it's just so fast for me to get these drafts up. And a big thing is, guys, I mean, I need to make sure we're doing all these as best ball drafts, because I have to be completely transparent. If I'm going to do 200 drafts with y'all, I can't do 200 drafts and then have 200 leagues I need to be submitting starting lineups for, going through and accessing the waiver wire for. That's not going to be possible. And while I really want y'all to get in a league with me, a big thing is I think that getting in these leagues are also going to make you a significantly better drafter for your real fantasy football league. Well, then you'll be able to focus in on the waiver wire with the league that you have with your friends, with the high stakes league that you may be doing this upcoming season. And you got all this draft practice in on Underdog Fantasy, and you'll be way, way better in that format. Okay, so Steven comes in and says, Jonah killing everyone. Yes, sir, I will check on Jonah. Let me make my own pick real quick. So we went back-to-back quarterback. So on this roster so far, we have 2 QBs, we have 3 running backs, we have 5 wide receivers, and a tight end. So we can go a couple different directions. I do like the quote-unquote value that you see right now with the Gabriel Davis, but like I said, Emmanuel Sanders is reportedly playing over Gabriel Davis right now, which is concerning. Now, beyond that, I really don't see that many other players we'd be intrigued in. Maybe a Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall is actually getting reports right now that he can be playing in the slot for Carolina this upcoming year. Nyheim Hines could be intriguing. We did take Jonathan Taylor on this team, though, so I'm not that interested in drafting in Nyheim Hines. So here we are going to go with a Terrace Marshall, who is sliding up draft boards at the 1209. See, guys, that's another thing that I'm saying. Like, a lot of this training camp news, you don't necessarily want to be paying that much attention to, because a lot of it's like, oh my God, you Rashad Penny, a running back that I love, he looks faster than ever. He feels faster than ever. That doesn't mean anything. But in the case of a Terrace Marshall, we actually have a piece of news that means something. You have to adjust your rankings when we get a piece of news that says, hey, Terrace Marshall can be running in the slot a lot this upcoming year. Possibly he actually takes over for that Curtis Samuel role. It's actually Terrace Marshall looking like the wide receiver 3 on this roster, and not David Moore, who they just signed from Seattle. That's a significant piece of news. So yeah, Terrace Marshall is going to have to slide up a little bit. SPAC wanted Terrace Marshall. And let me go back through and let me see Steven. Steven says Jonah killing everyone. Okay, so let me pull up Jonah's draft just to make sure we know where he's going to be at so we can go. Okay, so Jonah is drafting here at the 110. So we're going to go to the 110 after we make this pick, and we'll have a significant amount of time to look. Okay, so after going with wide receiver, we have 6 wide receivers on this roster. We are going to want to start drafting running backs in a little bit. Nyheim Hines goes. I don't think we can reach on an Alexander Madison here, however. Now, if we look at wide receiver, I mean, all these wide receivers are kind of falling off the board. maybe we actually have to go with a running back in Alexander Madison. Paris Campbell's falling due to the situation that you have in Indianapolis for a multitude of reasons. All these wide receivers for the Bills are kind of all over the place. Maybe we actually, it's either Gabriel Davis or Gerald Everett. I think we take Gabriel Davis because we're going to be more confident in a selection with Gabriel Davis. Now, I will say Emmanuel Sanders is getting a ton of positive publicity right now, but this is a team that runs a lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, so I think we'd rather just bet on the better player, and Emmanuel Sanders is 34 years old at this point. So we are going to go Gabe Davis. Another consideration that I had would have been either Gerald Everett or Alexander Madison. So now what I think taking Gabriel Davis does is it allows us to go through and get one of those very late tight end options that we have, and we can get him with George Kittle, and we still really don't have to worry that much about the tight end position. Okay, so now let's go over and let's look at Jonah's team real quick. Let me hide this so everybody can see Jonah's team. Okay, so he went from the 110. He gets a Barkley Gibson. Love that start. Okay, Jonah did kill this draft. Okay, so he went Barkley, Gibson, then slammed in wide receivers exactly in the range that you want them. He gets Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, Curtis Samuel, McCole Hardman. He stacks the Los Angeles Rams guys with Matthew Stafford. Then he goes through and he has Zach Moss, Irv Smith, David Johnson. I wonder if he would have considered taking Trevor Lawrence over Irv Smith. I know hindsight's 2020. That would have been a fantastic stack, though. This is an unbelievable team. I think that I'm very proud of my team that we have at the 104, but I don't think it's as good as Jonah's. Jonah does have just a killer roster here. Let me know what y'all are thinking. Let me know what y'all are thinking in the live chat, but that's a very good team by Jonah. Okay, now let's go through and Ryan Fitzpatrick at the 13-11. Yeah, so Gerald Everett, like I said, was the other guy that we were looking at, as well as Alexander Madison. I didn't think really could go with the third quarterback there after we take a Trey Lance and a Tom Brady in the 10th and 11th. I think we have too many other needs on this roster to go through and get another quarterback. Okay, so Dwayne says, why don't you feel the same way about Kyle Pitts getting reps in the slot as you do about Terrace Marshall? I never said that I didn't feel that same way about a Kyle Pitts. And I will say with the Kyle Pitts, I am looking more so historically at what you've seen those tight ends do and at the fact that those tight ends that are being drafted after him and Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson are much better bets for 2021. And then I think a lot would have to happen for me to consider to take Kyle Pitts over TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. Like a lot would have to happen. Jonas says, I was going to take Trevor after Irv Smith. Yeah, my man. Well, still, that's a fantastic draft. Congrats on that draft, my man. That is such a good team. And I still think that Fitzpatrick is going too early in these drafts. I mean, in a best ball format, you really want to make sure that you're getting a guy that's going to start all 16 weeks at the quarterback position, so you have more opportunities to capture those spike weeks. And while Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have a lot of ups and downs, I mean, if you look over the past 4 years, he's only averaged starting 8 games a year. Now, that's due to a multitude of reasons, which, of course, you can go through and you can explain those. But we have a long history of not necessarily seeing Fitzpatrick play that long. Martin says, can we do a $10 draft or another 5? Okay, so right now, we actually only have access to do 5, 50, or 100 if we were going to be doing 12-man leagues. So I think we're actually not going to be doing a $10 draft based on the fact that we can't. And I will put up a poll saying, do y'all want a 5, 50, or 100? And whatever wins, that's the draft we're going to be doing. Okay, so now we have some wide receivers going after this. Now let's pull this up real quick. I wonder how many people in these live streams come out, they watch me, and they hop in these drafts with me. Not because they enjoy the live stream at all or anything, but they just think that this competition that I have, I'm so bad at fantasy that they can just win money easily. I wonder how many people out here have that mindset. Because I would make an educated guess that it's not a 0% number. I will tell you that right now. Okay, so here, I really think we do need a running back, but actually there are a lot of tight ends that we could be fine with. I think we get a Rashad Penny. Y'all know that I really do like Rashad Penny. He does have, I think, great upside, 3-down bell cow upside if you actually had a Chris Carson injury. So yeah, we're going to go with Rashad Penny. A lot of those tight ends I do prefer over Penny, but a big thing is there were so many of them on the board that I'm fine with really any of 5 guys falling back to us with our next pick. Okay, guys, don't tell me what kind of draft y'all want to be doing right now in the live chat, because I promise you we're going to put up a poll and we're just going to do whatever the poll wins. Tanner says, I always miss the $5 drafts. I will say it's definitely easier for people who want to play in a 50 or play in 100 to get in a 50 or 100, because I send out that link and you just see that it kind of feels slower. So yeah, I mean, if you are really dying to get in a draft, if it's a $50 draft, I mean, you almost have a guaranteed spot compared to a $5, where a $5 it is a lot of people trying to get in at once. Okay, so Baker Mayfield, Amar-Ra St. Brown. So yeah, we are going to get a tight end that we feel comfortable about on the way back. It's either going to be Anthony Firkser or, okay, well, Cole Kmet went. So thank God Anthony Firkser didn't go. I mean, Cole Beasley, is there any news on Beasley right now? I saw that he reported to training camp. I know that he dropped a rap album, but beyond that, I don't really know anything. Maybe we take Beasley. We're taking Cole Beasley. In a best ball format, this is the only reason we're doing it, is because it's best ball. If it was a regular league, there's no way in hell we would go Cole Beasley here. But I think based on the fact that he falls that far, he's going to be seeing snaps. He's going to be playing in an offense that could lead the NFL in passing. I think that's going to be a good bet for some spike weeks. Let me know if something happened where Beasley said he was sitting out the season. I just don't know. Chris says Beasley will be cut. Okay. Please let me know if I missed something today, my dudes. Let me know. Let me know. I understand the vaccination situation going on. Last I read, it sounded like he was at training camp and he was still going through it. Let me look it up on Twitter, see if we missed out something with Cole Beasley, because that may have just been a throw. That may have just been a trash pick. And I just pulled up Twitter right now to see we have about 20 DMs to get those draft guides out. So I would definitely be sending those out after this live stream. Let me pull up Twitter, look up Cole Beasley. Okay, so Cole Beasley, a statement made. Okay, so there's nothing that comes out from him. Okay, the last thing we got was on the 28th. So I think we're fine with that value that we get Cole Beasley here in this format. I think we can get a tight end later on that we feel comfortable about. Now, the thing is, we really need another running back. I think we need 2 more running backs, 1 more tight end, and that's what this roster is going to be. Thomas says, need a running back for the first 6 weeks. I know, my man. Trust me. I know we need some running back in here. Okay, so let's go through and... Yeah, I think when we take Beasley, we kind of give up on the option of possibly going through and getting a third quarterback. I mean, we're not going to be drafting 3 QBs on this team. From here, we are having to try to find running back production. I mean, we're kind of sitting out at wide receiver as well. The only options that we have to look at in the draft at this point are going to be running back and tight end. That's what we're going to be looking at. So let's see what falls to us. Let's scroll down to the bottom right here. Let's kind of pray that we see some wide receivers and quarterbacks go off the draft board, because that's really going to be the only thing that can possibly save this team. So please, 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 let's see some of those players coming off. Okay, so Kadarius Toney, Deshaun Jackson. Yes, that is what we are wanting to find. We are wanting to find those wide receivers. Okay, so Nelly says, Fournette goes down and anybody who drafted Ronald Jones is going to win their league. I don't necessarily know about that. I would say that I would be in agreement with you if it wasn't for the Giovanni Bernard signing. But a big reason that I'm not all over Ronald Jones this year is that if Leonard Fournette goes down, I mean, Ronald Jones still is not going to be getting usage on passing downs. He's still going to be a 2-down running back. And if you have Ronald Jones go down on the flip side, Leonard Fournette's still not going to be getting, Leonard Fournette's still not going to be getting all 3-down usage. Now, if you have Giovanni Bernard go down, Ronald Jones still, there's a 3-headed monster there. You would need to have 2 injuries for Ronald Jones to turn into a 3-down running back. So that's why I'm saying I don't think he really does possess league winning upside. Now, tight end, we could go Jared Cook. We could go Blake Jarwin. Now, last I read, it sounds like Blake Jarwin is actually... Yeah, last I read, it sounds like the reports on Blake Jarwin aren't the best. It looks like Dalton Schultz is playing some. So while I hate Jared Cook, I'm kind of hoping he goes here. We possibly have to take him. Okay, so Jared Cook does go. So we're looking at running back and tight end. And given the fact that we need someone that's going to play right away at the running back position, I think what we actually look to do is we look to get someone that could be seeing snaps early on in the year. I'm not expecting that it's going to happen guaranteed. So let's look at tight end after us. Okay, every team has 2 tight ends after us, 2 or 3. Okay, yeah, so we're going to be going with the Devontae Booker here. Booker does have 3-down potential if you saw Saquon Barkley injury. So I like the pick for that reason. And maybe if people are right about Saquon Barkley maybe not playing 100% of snaps at the beginning of the year, maybe we get some touches out of Booker. I'm not optimistic about that. But I mean, if he's going to be falling to the end of the 16th, I think we're okay with kind of taking that risk. So let me know what y'all think about that selection. It would either be him or a tight end that we're probably going to draft with our next pick. So I don't necessarily want to say that name out loud. I guess it's Chuba Hubbard. Let's turn that back on. Okay, so Hubbard goes to the 16-12. And I really like a Chuba Hubbard, but a big thing is we're not necessarily trying to get him on a team like this because he has no path to hitting our starting lineup unless a CMC injury occurs. And that would not be at the beginning of the year. Also, we are about to pass 500 likes on the live stream. Thank you, my dudes. Thank you. Okay, so now we're either running back or tight end yet again. This is really the only option that we have. Corey possibly could go a tight end. He's only drafted 2. Let me see what his team is. Okay, so he goes Van Jefferson. Okay, so we are going to be getting Eric Ebron on this team. Possibly we would look to go Blake Jarwin, but reports out of camp, like I said, these are the reports that you look for, are saying that it's more so going to be a split between Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin. It's not like Blake Jarwin's going to be the starter there. So yeah, we need another running back. We needed another tight end. Running back, we can get some guys that I like later on. So I think we just get Eric Ebron here as our second tight end. So this team, we are going to be crushing people at wide receiver each and every week. Maybe I should have only gone with 7 wide receivers, given the fact that, we did go with the Devontae Adams in the first. So let me know what y'all are thinking about this. Maybe this was a construction that we should have only gone with 7 wide receivers. Okay, Adam Humphries at the 1707. Okay, so now let me go through. So is someone saying, Bub is saying, can I please draft from the 12 spot? My man, we will see if I can draft from the 12 spot. We'll see if Underdog finally decides to give me something different from the 104, the 106, and the 107. Because I swear to God, it seems like we draft there every single draft. But we are going to be doing another draft after this one, my dudes. So please make sure that y'all just stick around to the end. We are going to be putting out a poll asking what y'all are wanting to do. Okay, so Q the plug says Cam Akers is done for James. Oh, wait, did someone take Cam Akers? What is that about? Ben says, Mason, where did you go to college? I actually just graduated from the University of Texas with 2 degrees that it looks like I will never use in my entire life with biology and kinesiology. So we have 2 separate degrees that are never going to get used because instead we decided to pursue our dreams of just producing and researching fantasy football all day. So yeah, it is what it is. Whenever I was in college, this is what I was doing. So I guess I was, I actually almost sent out a tweet saying, I guess college did prepare me for exactly what I was going to do in the future. And that whenever I was in my anatomy classes, all I did was just send out dynasty fantasy football trades all day. I never paid attention at all. Of course, I needed to find a way to word it better, but possibly I'll still send out a tweet or something like that. But it is what it is. Steven says, Gig'em, my man. I'm sad you had to embarrass yourself in the chat like that. I didn't ask for you to embarrass yourself in the chat, but it is what it is. Okay, JK1RB was hitted by Dakota Stevens. My man, what was he saying? Please, let me view this deleted message. Okay, was he just... Dakota, why did you mute him, my man? My man, why did you mute him? Let me know if he did something, because I don't see what he did. Okay, so Malcolm Brown at the 1805. I would have loved to have Malcolm Brown falling to us. Malcolm Brown was the running back that I wanted. I thought based on the fact that JN wasn't in this draft, there was a chance that we were actually going to get Malcolm Brown. Looks like that is no longer a chance. Okay, so now at the 1809, I guess we go Kenneth Gainwell. I hate Kenneth Gainwell. I'm not drafting him, but we have to go running back here. Ramondre Stevenson's interesting, but I don't think he's an impact player at the beginning of the year. I guess we go Gainwell. Yeah, we're going to go Gainwell. I'm not a fan. I'm not doing it in many drafts, but usually he doesn't fall that far. Dakota says it was a misclick. Okay, well, can someone find out how to unmute that guy then? I don't know who JK1RB is, but okay, yeah, y'all got to figure out. Okay, we have Dakota and JN in here. Y'all got to figure out how to unmute that guy, please. He did nothing. He did nothing wrong. That's why I was asking. What did that guy do? Figure that out, please. Okay, Kawan Baker goes here at the 1810. Don't really understand that. Okay, so Donovan Peoples-Jones at the 1811. That is a wide receiver pick that honestly I really do like as a long shot. Okay, so now let me switch this over real quick. I'm going to be asking in the live chat right now, do you want a $5, $50, or a $100 league? Okay, Dakota says he unhit him. Okay, JKR1B, if you are here, please, please, please let me know, my man. Let's send this out. Do you want a $5? Actually, no, just say league buy-in. Title it that. We'll do $5, $50, and I'm assuming most people aren't going to want $100. Let's not do $100 today. So we'll just say promo code FLOCK. Okay, so don't spam it in the chat, my dudes. I sent it out. Mike, thank you so much for donating, my man. He said, sorry about the issues earlier in the draft, but thanks for the opportunity. Please let me know the best way to recover if it was even possible. Freaking Ricans, TPA. My man, I'm very sorry. We already put that draft board away. If you shoot me a DM on Instagram or Discord or Twitter or anything with a screenshot of the draft and say, hey, this was my team name. I'm Mike. I donated at the end of the thing. You weren't able to get back to me. Please send that to me, and I'd be happy to DM you tonight as I go through and I send out all those draft guides. Okay, so it looks like we're kind of split at the moment. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds to go through. It looks like we're 52% $5, 38% 50. Okay. Hey guys, I use promo code FLOCK there because I'm assuming that the people who aren't going to participate, they maybe want to, they're not going to necessarily need a vote on 5 or 50. So obviously if someone has an opinion on 5 or 50, that's where they're putting their vote anyway. So it doesn't matter if there's a third option. Okay. So Leonardo says, everyone voting for 50. Are you willing to get in the draft or are you just wanting to see it? I'm not worried about filling a $50 draft. We have over 400 people in here. You know what we'll do? Let's do it. We're close enough where we're going to do a 50. We're going to do a 50. And if we hit 600 likes by the time this live stream gets over with this draft, I don't care. I'll stay up till 1 a.m. drafting. I'll stay up till 3 a.m. getting out the draft guides. We're going to do a 50 right now. And if this stream hits over 600 likes, which is at 460, then we'll switch over and we'll do a $5 after. So I'm going to get out I know it was 51% for the $5 league. I understand that was very close. And yeah, let me go through. Let me set up a $50 league. And if we hit 600 likes, we'll do a $5 bun. But we're going to do more $5 ones than $50 ones tomorrow night. So I promise you we're going to continue to do more. Now let me go through and set this up. Okay. Create a private draft because both of the drafts that we did to start the video were $5. So since this was so close, I want to give the people who are wanting to do a $50 one at least the chance to enter. Okay, so I'm creating a private draft. Remember, do not enter the random thing in the lobby. I'm creating a private draft, going to send that one out in the live chat for all the subscribers of the channel. I want to make sure everybody in these drafts is a subscriber of the channel. Okay, NRG says, why vote? Because if the vote would have showed up 80-20, then all of a sudden I would have been like, okay, well, 100% we're doing a $5 league. But when the vote is close there, I think we can actually go through and we can make everybody happy by the majority of the time doing a $5 league and then occasionally doing a 50. Ryan says, where do we put in the promo code? When you go to deposit $10, it will have that promo code there for you. Okay, so now let me send this out. $50 league. Just sent out that code in the live chat so everybody can see where we are at. Okay, so we just sent that out. I'm sure that this is going to fill pretty fast based on the amount of people who wanted the 50. So yeah, back over if I can. Maybe I'm stupid. Okay, there. And we'll drag this down. And everybody at once, drop a like on the live stream for the 101. And you didn't do it fast enough. We get the 108. Okay, the 108 we've drafted from here before. It's not the best spot. It's not the best spot, to be completely honest. It's very standard. I think the 107, the 108, the 109, the 110, they're pretty much all the same, to be completely honest. Bub Frank says, how do you feel about Javonte Williams? I feel that he'll be the starting running back in Denver by the time we get to week 5. There's a reason that I've been drafting Javonte Williams everywhere. Okay, so CMC, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara. Okay, so MC Blinks says the last North Korea election was closer than the I'm gonna embarrass myself. I didn't even know they had elections, to be completely honest. Nathan says, yo, I'm about to go to college for bio and kinesiology. Maybe I'll do professional fantasy one day. LOL. My man, where are you going to school for? Are you doing like a combined biology and kinesiology degree? Because my 2 degrees were like in 2 completely different colleges. I was in the college of education for kinesiology and the college of natural sciences for biology. So they're like 2 completely different things. Does your school like actually kind of combine them? Because I was at first going to be going to PT school. Then I didn't know if I wanted to go to medical school. So I didn't know if I wanted to be a physical therapist or go and be a surgeon. I actually have hundreds of hours of where I was shadowing surgeons and watching surgeries through every single, I want to say every single off season, but no, every single summer. And what I'll be doing is, I'm no lie, I know y'all are going to think that I'm lying. I'd be sitting in an operating room and I'd be on my phone in the corner and I'd be going through sending out dynasty trades. I mean, I was an addict and had a problem. So I guess that we kind of made the correct decision to go through and do this. A big reason we made that decision was all the support that y'all showed on this channel. So yeah, I could not be happier with what we decided to do. Okay, so Travis Kelce at the 106. I thought we were going to get Kelce at the 108. I assume that's where we are going to go. That's where we go in the majority of these leagues. Now you see, okay, so M. Blazer on the clock. What does he do here? Does he take the falling knife in Derrick Henry? He goes Derrick Henry. Okay, I was going to say I don't love Derrick Henry in fantasy, but if I'm going to have the opportunity to draft him at the 108, I'm doing that every time. And now here, we've already taken Saquon Barkley in multiple drafts. Do we test something out and go a little different and try out a Tyreek Hill team? I don't think we've tried out a Tyreek Hill team yet on Underdog. So I think that's what we're going to do. I took Saquon Barkley over Tyreek Hill at the 109 in a draft, I believe 2 drafts ago. I liked how that team turned out, but I want to continue to try out new things. That way, when we get closer to the season and we start doing more high dollar drafts over and over and over again, I mean, we're going to have just exactly our plan on lock. And like I said, in the draft last night, I really messed up a draft by going with Darren Waller and George Kittle. But as I did it at that 2-3 turn, I acknowledged the fact I went, hey, this may be bad, but I definitely want to be trying out new things. And that's why I'm really advocating for y'all to go use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. Get your $25. That way you can get in drafts and you can try out new things and you can feel comfortable about your strategy going into your league this upcoming year. Okay, Nathan says Colorado College, major in bio, minor kinesiology, want to be a PT or maybe a PA. My man, well, that is perfect for it. I've actually had a bunch of friends go to Colorado, and I heard that it's a very, very good school. Okay, let me go through, send this out. Okay, it looks like that chat is not working for me anymore. Okay, so now after going Tyreek Hill at the 108, possibly we look to go running back. I mean, a couple of our targets would have been like a guy like Aaron Jones. Would have loved to have him fall down for us. Obviously, that's not an option. Now, Antonio Gibson would have also been another guy that we are looking for. And like I said, guys, I mean, it is very late, and I'm going to be sending out draft guides and sending out just messages with those guides for the next, like, probably at least 2 hours tonight, because I still have messages that were sent to me an hour before the stream that I've not gotten to. So, okay, first let me figure this out. I I think we go Mixon based on the fact that we ended up taking Tyreek Hill in the first. So I don't love it. I think we actually prefer, okay, here, let me get into this and I'll talk about it out loud. So we went Tyreek Hill in the first to try this out. Then we went Joe Mixon in the second, hoping that Antonio Gibson was going to fall to us. He didn't. We don't get Calvin Ridley either. I love Calvin Ridley falling to us. So here, let me know what y'all think. I probably prefer the combination of Saquon Barkley and DK Metcalf over Tyreek Hill and Joe Mixon. But let me know what y'all are thinking there. We actually got Jonathan Taylor at the 110 in the last draft. I think based on the injury to Quentin Nelson, based on the injury to Carson Wentz, you do have to drop down Jonathan Taylor behind Joe Mixon. Okay, Ryan says, do we have to deposit money to use your code? Yes, sir. You have to deposit $10 to get that $25 bonus as well as our 2021 draft guide. And all you have to do to get our draft guide is shoot me a DM on either Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Patreon. I mean, you'll find it really anywhere. And say, hey, Mason, use your code. You don't even have to say thank you for the show. Just say, literally, someone sent me a meme earlier. It was one of the funniest things ever on Twitter. They sent me a DM and it had a picture of like a robber, like with the gun, and it said like, hand over the draft guide. And then it had a screenshot underneath of them using promo code FLOCK with their email. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Did I make this a $5 draft, my dudes? Was this a $5 draft? People in the chat are saying I accidentally made this a $5 draft. Okay, so let me see. Nick says this was, okay. Steven says, LOL, you made this a $5 draft. Can someone confirm on that? Can the people in this draft right now confirm? I don't think anybody's going to be mad at me for saying it's a 50 and then making it a 5. I think it would have been really bad if I said it was a 5 then made it a 50. Thank God I didn't mix up the other situation. But yeah, can someone confirm here so I can figure out what's going on? Spack says Mixon should have a healthy workload. Yes or no? I mean, Mixon's playing in the best offense of his entire career, and at the same time, Giovanni Bernard's gone, opening up targets for Joe Mixon. Okay, Nick says, I had Antonio Gibson and DeAndre Swift fall to me at the 2-3 turn in a dynasty startup year this year. Feel blessed. My man, that is a great start to a dynasty startup. Jayan says, it is a $5 league. My man, that is 100% not the fault of Underdog. That is 100% the fault of my own in trying to read the live chat and setting up a draft at the same time. So I apologize if you went to click on the link and you hit enter thinking it was a $50 draft based on what I said out loud. I acknowledge that's 100% my fault. And I apologize if you only got to deposit, if you only got to play in a 5 instead of a 50. Let me know if there's anything I can do to make that right for y'all. Like I said, I think it would have been a really big deal if we got that wrong backwards. Do we take Terry McLaurin for the first time ever here? No, not doing it. Not doing it out of principle. I want to be able to go this entire draft season saying I haven't drafted Terry McLaurin at all. We're going to go J.K. Dobbins. Let JN get Terry McLaurin here in the third. Jonas says, if you don't get 600 likes, just do all $50 tomorrow. We're definitely going to do a $50 draft tomorrow. Now that we didn't do a $50 draft tonight, I can guarantee we're going to at least do one tomorrow. We're going to do also another $5 draft tomorrow to get more people in here. I'm really sorry about that. My dudes, if you really wanted in a $50 draft tonight and you are that upset with me and you joined this one and it was a 5, please shoot me a DM on Twitter, shoot me a DM on Instagram, Patreon, Discord, literally anywhere I'll see it. And I'll try to figure out something I can do for you to make it right. I am very, very sorry about that, my dudes. Tanner says, I guess you'll have to do another draft after this one. This is our 11th draft in 3 days. This is our 11th draft in 3 days, my dudes. Like I said, if we hit 600 likes on this live stream, we're over 500 right now. If we hit 600 likes on the live stream, I'll do a 4th. If we hit 600 likes, that is a high bar to have. That's a high bar. I don't think we've hit a $60. If we hit 600 likes on the live stream, we'll do another draft tonight. Okay, so Montgomery, Chris Carson. I probably would have gone with the third running back, to be completely honest, if they would have fallen to us in the 4th. Nick says, Dobbins at the 308 is fair value. Spack, you're just a homer. Okay, Spack says, J.K. Dobbins at the 308 should be illegal. My man, Spack was taking J.K. Dobbins at the 206 in a few drafts ago. That was pretty funny. But no, Dobbins at the 308, I'm fine with the price. I would definitely prefer having a wide receiver like an Allen Robinson, a Keenan Allen, a CeeDee Lamb over him. Like, definitely don't be taking Dobbins over those wide receivers. But I think when Dobbins comes to the 308 and you start a draft off with Tyreek Hill, I'm fine going running back with Mixon Dobbins. Okay, and by the way, guys, I see people saying in the chat, deal for me saying 600 likes, we'll do another stream. We're not hitting 600 likes. I'm saying 600 likes because I know we're not hitting it. Now, we're taking Patrick Mahomes. We never draft Mahomes, but he's at the 405 here, and we took Tyreek Hill in the first round. So y'all know I talk about all the time that you don't necessarily want to go out there and you don't want to have to reach on stacks. You want to have them kind of set up in a way where you can construct your roster going, okay, these are the options that we have possible at quarterback if one falls to us at a value. That's exactly what we have here at the 405 with Tyreek Hill. Bub Frank says, how do you feel about J.K. Dobbins versus DeAndre Swift? J.K. Dobbins is going to be way more efficient this year. J.K. Dobbins is actually going to see a similar amount of touches. Now, the difference is DeAndre Swift is going to be getting the targets in his offense, whereas running backs in Baltimore just don't get targeted out of the backfield. So I do prefer Swift over Dobbins, but we do have them in the same tier because you're going to expect the overall offensive environment to provide J.K. Dobbins just a way higher level of efficiency than what you have with DeAndre Swift. Okay, so we just passed 550 likes in the live stream, so it may be possible that we have to do another draft after this. And the thing is, guys, is stream. I love drafting. Like literally, I've said this so many times before, but when I wake up, the number one thing that I look forward to is live streaming these Underdog drafts and talking with y'all in the live chat. But doing it for 4 hours every single day, when on top of this, I'm recording Patreon podcasts all day, and on top of that, I'm making YouTube videos all day. My voice, if y'all can't tell, is kind of going out. So I'm selfishly hoping we don't hit 600 likes. I'm probably going to stop talking about the potential for us to get there. That way we hopefully don't. But if we do hit 600, I promise you we'll get another. I promise you. Okay, so Jacobs at the 410. Okay, so Mahomes at the 4. Let me know what y'all think of Mahomes at the 405, because obviously reaching on a quarterback here is going to be a little suboptimal if you're going through and you're doing it with the opportunity cost of passing up on those wide receivers. But I think Mahomes at the 405 is too good to pass up on. JN comes up with a massive donation. Thank you, my dude. Says, Mason, this is simply not okay. I will never be able to forgive you. Also, all gas, no brakes. And yes, I did this option, so my message would be orange. Flock up, hashtag all gas, no brakes. My man, thank you so much for supporting the channel, as always. And like I said, guys, if you really wanted to join a $50 draft and I accidentally set this up to be a $5 draft and you were really that upset with me, please shoot me a DM and I'd be happy to try to make it right with you any way I can. So just let me know, my dudes. Okay, so now let me go. Let's kind of talk about where we take this draft from here, because we can't be drafting another quarterback for a very long time. When we pass up on the opportunity to draft a DJ Moore, a T. Higgins, a Tyler Lockett in a type of draft like this, we already have so much invested into Mahomes that Mahomes we're essentially betting. And I know a lot of people hear me say play all 16 games and go, Mason, it's a 17-game season. We got so many comments on the YouTube video today of everybody feeling the need to inform me that we have an extra game this year. Guys, when I say play all 16 games, you still realize that the fantasy schedule is 16 games, right? Last year, I would have been saying play all 15 games. We're not looking at Mahomes playing all 17 games. We're not playing him the last week. So Mahomes plays all 16 games that matter for us, then really we don't need a quarterback two here. I mean, even if like you had a Dak Prescott falling to us in the 6th, we can't even think about taking him. Spac coming out with the donation says J.K. Dobbins is a top 5 running back. I'll say Dobbins is a lot more intriguing in a half PPR format than he is a full PPR format. Like if this was a full PPR league, I probably would actually also take Chris Godwin and J.K. Dobbins. And Terry McLaurin over J.K. Dobbins. But yeah, no, Dobbins begins to become more and more appealing the less incentive you have to get those receptions. So now Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts goes. Okay, so here, let's focus in on this. Travis Kelce went at the 106 to the same team that took Hawkinson at the 506. So possibly we take Mark Andrews here, knowing that teams are going to have to reach on tight end a little bit later on in drafts. So yeah, 2 of the elite tight ends went to the same team. So here I think we reach slightly on Mark Andrews, thinking that the overall price of tight end in this draft later on may be at a slight premium. So if we get Andrews here at the 508, we won't have to pay that premium, and we're not making a massive reach at the same time. So Andrews is at the 508. I'm going to be fine about that. Okay, so Father Acto comes out, says, how do I get in your drafts? Okay, my man, this is a step-by-step process on how to get in one of these drafts, because we are doing, it looks like 4 of these every single night based on the fact that we are about to pass 600 likes, which is ridiculous. But if you want in one of these drafts, the first thing you need to do is you need to go to Underdog Fantasy. You need to use promo code FLOCK, deposit $10. And I'm not even saying spend $10. I'm saying deposit $10. All you're doing is moving $10 from your bank account to $10 over here on Underdog Fantasy that you're going to play fantasy leagues with. It's the same thing about you joining a $10 fantasy league. So make sure you go do that. They will pay you $25 to do that. And at the same time, you're getting my 2021 draft guide. It's a deal that doesn't make sense at all. It sounds like a scam. Like if I was watching the stream, the reason I'm talking about this so much is I know myself. If I was watching the stream and I heard me talking about this or mention this, I know I would think that it's a scam. I know there's no way in hell that I'd deposit $10. But you can ask anybody in the live chat right now. There are a significant amount of people in this live chat that have gotten my draft guide, that got their free $25. Underdog has been around for more than a few years now, paying people out 100% of the time. There's never been a problem with payouts. So it's not a scam. All you have to do is use promo code FLOCK, sign up for Underdog, and then all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, hang out in the live chat where I'll go through and I'll be sending out those links to join our drafts. Mike says, life happens and nobody should ever stress with fantasy football. My man, I stress with fantasy football a lot, but thank you for the support, my man. Okay, so now we are up on the clock. So we have one wide receiver. So I do think we want to go wide receiver here. Javonte Williams is very intriguing, but we're just going to take Odell. Now in a regular format, I'm not a massive fan of drafting Odell in the 6th round, but a big thing is this is a best ball league. So we don't have to submit our starting lineup each and every week. Whenever Odell Beckham Jr. does have his spike weeks, he will slide into the starting lineup just fine. So yeah, we're going to go with Odell right there. We have Jonathan says, does Underdog work for Canadians? Yes, Underdog works for Canadians. I heard that there was a problem getting identified on the app though for Canadians, just because Canada is a little different. I don't know the exact reason, so I don't want to speak on what I don't know. I know a lot of people in these drafts are Canadians. I think all they have to do is reach out to customer support, and they may have one extra step to verify your identity. And that's a big reason why you need to sign up for Underdog Fantasy now instead of when I actually send out the link for saying we're filling a new league. Is because Underdog Fantasy, obviously, because they're giving you a free $25 when you sign up, you can't be just making a million different accounts and stealing a bunch of money from Underdog Fantasy. That's not going to fly. So they have to verify your identity, go, okay, is this person a real person? Have they joined Underdog before? And then that will be when you get free $25. So it does take about 10 minutes. At least it took me about 10 minutes to get my identity verified. Also, I think they have to do it for legal reasons as well, due to the fact that you are playing fantasy sports on the app. So yeah, make sure you get that set up now. And I think for people in Canada, it may take one extra step. I haven't heard that for sure. I'm just guessing. Maybe it's the same for you. I know people in Canada play on the app. I know that for sure. I mean, we have a bunch of people on Patreon that are in Canada. Essential says, will Underdog work for people that live in Texas? Yes, guys, literally Underdog works like everywhere, except if you live in Europe. If you live in Australia, then I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to play on Underdog. But if you live in America, you live in Canada, you could play on Underdog unless you live in, I think it's like 3 states. I think Louisiana. I think it's also like Montana, and I know Washington does not allow it as well. So there are like 3 states that don't allow it, but 2 of the states really have tiny populations. Really, the only main state that doesn't allow it is actually Washington. Steven coming out with the donation says 600 likes. My dudes, it looks like we are doing another draft. Oh my gosh. Dylan says, I was the 600 like, and Mike says, what took you so long to drop that like? Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, we'll get another draft going, my dudes. Thank you for all the support, of course. Okay, so Mike at the 705. Now let's go through in the 7th round. Jayan says, rip Mason's voice. Greg says Nevada as well. Yeah, I forgot, guys. Nevada doesn't allow like really anything online because they need so much money through Vegas. They really can't let that going anywhere else. So yeah, Nevada has kind of rigged it a little bit. I completely forgot about Nevada. Okay, so now at the end of the 7th round, let's see who we are going to be going with. We definitely need wide receiver. I'll say we're going wide receiver. We have such a balanced team so far. Okay, so now let's see where Blazer decides to go. Is he going Debo? I think he may time out with Debo Samuel. So it looked like, yeah, I don't know if Debo Samuel would have been the timeout. So maybe he set his cue, or maybe he just waited a while. We really are not drafting Debo Samuel that much at all this year. If we're ever going to get him, I think we actually draft him right after Devonta Smith, Antonio Brown, Mike Williams. Of course, you can never draft him over Laviska Shenault. So we are going to be taking Debo Samuel here. Not in love with the selection, but we're not going to be drafting Debo in many leagues. And I think if we are ever going to draft him, we're going to get him here at the 708. Justin says, should we do the $50 next? I'll do another poll and we'll figure out what y'all want to do after this one. But y'all can see it in my eyes, my dudes. I am tired. I'm sure that y'all can see it. Father says, my draft is like a slow draft, I think. Yes, sir, guys. So what Underdog actually offers, because obviously a lot of people, like if you're a dad, if you have a real job, if you have to go to something, they don't just offer fast drafts, where here we're exclusively doing drafts that are 30-second timers. That way I can go through and live stream them. But they also have drafts that have like 8-hour timers. So if you want to hop into multiple drafts at once and you go through and you do them throughout the day and you don't have to worry about ever getting timed out, like if you want to do it before you cook dinner or something, then yeah, you can hop in a draft that has an 8-hour timer. It is going to take a lot longer to finish. So just understand that. And there are going to be some different aspects that you're finding. Like some people may just pick right away and try to rush the next person. Some people may wait on the clock, see if any news breaks while they're on the clock. But what's kind of funny is those people maybe will eventually time out if they accidentally push it too far. So there are a lot of different variables that you play. I'm definitely going to be sticking it with the live drafts because, I mean, I think the live drafts are a lot more fun, to be completely honest. They're a lot more stressful. And obviously I want to be live streaming almost all of the drafts that I'm in, even though I do really like hopping in the drafts when I'm at the gym, but I'm not going to be able to live stream those. Martin says, will you go with whichever poll choice gets the higher percentage? Yes, we will go with whatever poll choice gets the higher percentage because we just got a ridiculous amount of likes in the live stream. Also, let me check how many subscribers we are currently at because, I mean, I am pretty sure that we have just skyrocketed. Oh my God. There's no way this is true. There's no way we're about to be at 27.8 thousand. Oh my God. That is crazy. Thank you, my dudes. Oh my God. Okay, so we can't take a Justin Herbert here. We have Mahomes. I think we just simply get the stack with Mahomes. We go McCole Hardman. This team is shaping up nicely. Let me recap this team to y'all. We have been, not what I intended to do. Let's hide that. We have been killing these drafts. Okay, so we look at this. We went Tyreek in the first, Mixon, Dobbins, Mahomes, Mark Andrews. Then we still get some wide receivers for this best ball format, where we get the stack with Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, and Patrick Mahomes, one of the most valuable stacks that you can have in fantasy. And we have some other wide receivers that can pop off. We have running backs that we know are getting guaranteed touches. We have, I don't want to say an elite tight end, but definitely a high-end tight end one at the same time. So yeah, this is a very, very intriguing draft. Let me know what y'all are thinking about this, but I mean, I think that this is a great start. Okay, so now let's put that back up. Let's slide this down. Chris says, I subscribed today, but I've been watching you on YouTube for a few weeks. My man, what took you so long to subscribe? I'd imagine you find the channel, and the second that you hit it, then you're going to hit that subscribe button. I actually had to go through and explain what the subscribe button was for a bunch of people at the beginning of the stream. Steven says, Mason, you made the right choice not to follow your majors. Yeah, I mean, I think I would much prefer spending 14 hours a day right now just talking, researching fantasy football and hanging out with y'all in the live streams than I would just going through and going to graduate school and studying books that, I mean, what's more interesting? Studying anatomy or studying fantasy football? Because literally that's kind of what my job is at this point, is just to study. If I was going to go to graduate school, whatever path I took, I would just be studying at the same time, but I'd just be studying something different. Okay, Burgundy says, let this man go to bed. No, my dude, we got 600 likes in the live stream. We are going through and we are going to continue to get this going. And also, we had so many people sign up with promo code FLOCK yesterday. I mean, it's like, I was telling my girlfriend that she right now is in Mexico. So we haven't really talked at all just because I've been so busy on the channel. I just told her, I was like, I'm sorry. I will catch you up with everything that's been going on lately in like a week when you get back and we can talk. But I mean, my life, like this has been like a life-changing week. This has been ridiculous. Justin says, I'm back and you're still grinding. Yes, sir. We are out here. Robert says, I didn't realize I was not subscribed. Guys, my dudes, what are y'all doing? Subscribe to the channel. Steven says surgery could be really lucrative. My man, it's not all about money. It's more so about doing exactly what you want every day. And this is exactly what I'm wanting to do. Okay. So Hollywood Brown at the 905, Michael Pittman at the 906. Guys, my job is literally to come on and do fantasy football drafts. Do you realize how crazy that is? Like it shouldn't be legal. Do we go Noah Fant here? I think we possibly go Noah Fant. We're done at the tight end position. At running back, it would be Raheem Mostert, but I really don't like Mostert. I really don't like him at all. He's had like one game with over 20 carries throughout his entire career. I think we go Noah Fant. We're going to go Noah Fant. We're going to put him together with a Mark Andrews, and we're not drafting another tight end. We're only going to have to draft 2 quarterbacks on this team as well since we got Mahomes. So we're going to be able to just load up on running backs and wide receivers in this draft. No, Brian says, did your girlfriend move to Florida with you, or was she already there? No, my girlfriend actually is going to be going to LA. She majored in film. Actually, she hasn't decided. She has a bunch of internships and stuff in Austin right now. So she doesn't know if she's going to LA or is going to stay in Austin. But Florida's not as good for film. Okay, John says, you made it. Too bad. I'm taking all your money once I get in the league. Yes, sir. I believe it. I believe it, my man. And I don't mean to come on here and brag or anything, but I just wanted to address the comment of someone telling me that I should have done something else and I should have gone into surgery. No, I think this is better. Okay, Xavier says, what do you watch on Sundays? Red Zone, or do you flip through channels? My man, it's Red Zone. It's Red Zone. I have said this before, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this comment, and I know a lot of people are probably going to turn off the stream and just really, really hate me for this. It is not fun to sit there and watch an entire game of football. Now, I will love to watch a game of football after it is played and skip around in it. But if I'm sitting there and I'm watching an entire game of football, I feel like I am watching 80% advertisements and people who I don't value their opinion on what they're talking about commentate over the game. Whereas if I watch Red Zone, there I am only watching about the fantasy players that I care about doing exactly what I'm looking for. Red Zone is the best viewing experience that you could possibly ever have, and it's not even close. I mean, I could never consider sitting there and watching one game all the way through when Red Zone is an option. It is not even close. It is not even close. Like, what I love to do is I just look at, what I do is I look up NFL box scores, and I have that on my laptop as I sit there and look at the screen, and then I'll see a play, and I just go scroll. I play in way too many leagues to go and like actually check my fantasy scores, but I'll check box scores as I go through and follow the games, because I know running backs that I have more so than others. I know wide receivers that I didn't draft at all. So I'm just checking those things going, okay, if this player does really good, I most likely did really good this week in all of my leagues. If this player did really bad, then I most likely did pretty bad in all of my leagues. Now, I hate Raheem Mostert. You're very rarely ever going to see me draft him. But here you see on the right side, his ADP is pick 88, and we just drafted him at 113. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of him in the slightest, but, yeah, we're going to be drafting Raheem Mostert there. I don't want to say reluctantly, but I don't like the pick. Okay, yeah, Lucas saying Scott Hansen is also so good. Yeah, Scott Hansen is pretty damn good. I'll admit that. Red Zone is the best. It's probably because I'm not a fan of any NFL team. Like, if I really love the Cowboys or I really love the Texans or something, I'm sure that I probably would sit there and I'd watch an entire game all the way through. But when Red Zone is an option, I mean, I'm not a fan of any NFL team. So if I'm going through and I'm picking a game, I don't even know what game to pick. I'm just picking a game that, like last year, I had Juju Smith-Schuster in a ton of leagues. Last year, I had a rookie like Antonio Gibson in a ton of leagues. So I'm going to either watch Washington or I'm going to watch Pittsburgh. I mean, what am I looking at here? Or am I just going to go on Red Zone and I'm going to see everything that I need to see? Aaron says, I watch my favorite team and then Red Zone if they don't play. See, that's probably what I would do. Xavier says, 8 hours of unadulterated commercial-free football. Here we go. Yes, sir. That's what it is. I mean, it's also commercial-free. There's nothing beating it. Because I'm telling you, when you sit there and you watch a football game all the way through, I really want to get out my phone and time the commercials versus time the football. Compared to Red Zone, it's a night and day. Okay, Zachary says, what do you think of my picks? Zachary 23. Okay, let's pull this up real quick. Where are you, Zachary? I don't see Zachary. Okay, Zachary 23 at the 111. Let me make my pick here, and then we'll go through and we'll look at Zachary 23. And the big thing is, guys, also, if you use promo code FLOCK, if you get in these drafts with me on Underdog, I would love to go through and I'd love to break down your team on the stream. I think it's actually really useful for me to go through, and a lot of the times I'm wrong with what I say, and I admit where I think that I go wrong and what I think that I'm not 100% confident in. There are a few things that I am confident in, so I'm going to really be willing to fight back with you on it. But yeah, I'm open to be wrong. I don't go over your team and point out what I don't like to be an ass. I do it more so because I think it's making us better versus making us worse. So yeah, I'll definitely be happy to pull up your team, my man. Okay, so let's make this pick and let's go look at the 111. Okay, so come on, Blazer. He has 5 wide receivers. I want a wide receiver here. He goes Rondell Moore. Okay, that was the guy that we wanted. What I need to stop doing is I need to stop hovering over the player that I'm about to draft. Maybe I'm being crazy, but I think maybe that has something to do with us getting sniped so much. Here we're going to go with the Traquan Smith. What we really need at this pick is we just need a wide receiver that's going to be playing a lot of snaps, getting a ton of targets. So yeah, let's make that pick. Let me switch over real quick. Let me look at Zachary 23 at the 111. Here he goes. Diggs, Hopkins to start it off. I think I would honestly probably prefer going with an Antonio Gibson over DeAndre Hopkins for the upside, but DeAndre Hopkins definitely has the high floor. Then you have Chris Carson at the 311. I completely agree with that selection. Mike Evans at the 402. Josh Allen at the 511. Okay, getting that Allen stack at a value with Stephon Diggs is massive. I think that's kind of similar to what we did with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Myles Gaskin at the 602 is your second running back. That is good value. Will Fuller, love going Will Fuller there. Tyler Higbee at the 802. Higbee was a player that I really liked over consensus at the beginning of the offseason. I'm sure you've heard me say this a million times before, but his price has risen so much, it's a little bit harder to say now. Devontae Parker at the 911, Tom Brady at the 1002. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan in the world of a Tom Brady at the 1002, to be completely honest. I think there we probably prefer to see you go with either a wide receiver, a running back. I mean, because you did invest so much into Josh Allen, I think we do prefer to see you go just instead with an Elijah Moore or a Zach Moss, or maybe doubling up on tight end and go with someone like Irv Smith. Yeah, but I think that's the one pick we don't like. I think Brady's the only pick because I think the quarterbacks you could have got later on were maybe closer to Brady than what you're going to find at running back and wide receiver. Okay, so now let's send this out. And Martin says you can do your draft on your phone. Yes, sir, guys. I think Underdog is actually made more so for your phone. Like they have an app on your phone that's really where most people draft. Now, of course, I always am sitting at my computer because I'm working all day, so I prefer drafting on my computer. And at the same time, I actually have to go through and I need to be making sure we're live streaming it. So I draft from my computer, but it's actually optimized for your phone, where I'd imagine that most of the people in this draft right now are drafting from their phone. Okay, Mofo says, stand up. We need proof. You don't sit around like John Clayton in your boxers. My man, it is generous of you to think that I'm even wearing boxers underneath this, my man. Okay, James says, when I do a draft at Underdog, I can use my phone, or does it have to be on the computer? Yeah, my man, like I said, it's actually made mainly for your phone. I think probably 95% of people that draft on Underdog use their phone. I think that I'm probably one of the very few people that are using my computer. Okay, so here it's, do we want Terrace Marshall or do we want Jamal Williams? That's the question. I think the running back fall off would be more significant than the wide receiver with what we're going to see with the next round. The bye weeks line up where Jamal Williams makes sense. Jamal Williams makes a lot of sense in this best ball format where you know he's going to be getting touches every single week. And on top of this, if anything were to occur to DeAndre Swift, his role expands. So yeah, I think Jamal Williams in this format does make a lot of sense. Yeah, Party Till She's Hot says he uses his phone in the drafts. Let me know, guys, if y'all have used promo code FLOCK and you've been drafting on Underdog Fantasy. Let me know if you've been drafting. I'm going to send out a poll real quick. I'm sending out a poll if it's phone or computer. And a big reason that you need to subscribe to the channel, come out to these live streams so you can participate in the polls, my dudes. This is another element that we have going on. Okay, so computer, phone, /. Okay, so I just sent that out. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people are saying phone. Let me see what the actual poll says. Let's get back to the draft. Okay, so after we go Jamal Williams, we do have some more running backs going off the board. So I'm really happy with that Jamal Williams selection. And I really don't think we can consider taking quarterback that early when we did go with a Mahomes in this format. That's kind of the advantage that you get with Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so let's check this poll real quick. Phone is leading. There are actually way more people that use computer than I thought. It looks like it's 50-50 between computer and phone. I kind of assumed that. Almost, okay, computer's leading. I thought that it was almost all phone. That's very surprising. Okay, Scott says, can't get on Underdog in Europe. My man, I'm very sorry if you're in Europe and can't get on Underdog. I really hope that they get that going for y'all sometime soon. I know it's not going to be this year. I mean, I haven't talked to them about it. I probably shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's this year. I would imagine it's most likely next, but I just don't know. I haven't talked to them at all about it. I don't know. So please let me retract my statement that I just had. I have no idea when they're going to Europe. Literally no idea. Okay, NRG Fantasy Focus says, please break down my team, Mason, at the 105. Yes, sir. I definitely will get that out for you. Okay, but first let me make my own selection. Then we'll look at NRG's team at the 105. So we have 4 running backs. We have 5 wide receivers. We've already drafted all our tight ends, and we are only going to be drafting 1 more QB. So really, we're only looking at running back or receiver here. I'm not going to be going with the J.D. McKissic. That's the main reason we took Jamal Williams in the last round, is because I thought that the running backs were going to be gross here. Bryan Edwards reportedly playing over John Brown in camp right now, which is a report that you actually need to take note of. So we're going to get Sterling Shepard here as someone that doesn't have a ton of upside from a season-long standpoint, but he is going to be someone seeing a decent amount of targets and snaps every single week. So let's hide that. Let's go up. Let's look at NRG's draft so far, where he has Zeke at the 105, Waller at the 208, Swift at the 305. Okay, so he passes on wide receiver, and then he lands these wide receivers here in the middle rounds in Higgins, Deontay, Chark, and Mike Williams. So I think through 7 rounds, it's honestly very strong. I think that you can make an argument that maybe you want Mike Williams versus Antonio Brown, Devonta Smith in that tier, but at least you're going wide receiver. I think the construction's what matters more than you're getting the James Robinson at the 808, where you wouldn't have access to a running back in that tier into for the 9th. So I agree with that as well. Then you get a Hollywood Brown in the 9th. This is another very sharp drafter. You know how I say that I think that we are probably a better drafter than 90% of the people in the live chat. That's why I'm willing to come out and just spend this much money on fantasy leagues, because I think we are going to have a good ROI against the majority of people in here. And how I say that, I know I'm not an idiot. I understand that based on numbers with the 400 live viewers that we get in every single one of these streams, there are definitely a handful of guys that are way better drafters than me. And of course, I'm willing to admit that. I think NRG Fantasy Focus may fit that mold. I mean, he crushes every single draft. I think that is, there are very few crowns that I can give that out to. I'm not going to say that yet. I'm not going to throw in the towel yet, my man. But the few drafts I've seen you in, you have been crushing it. Mike says, Underdog definitely going international. Mark Cuban is most likely on it. Yes, sir, guys. If y'all didn't know, like, Mark Cuban actually is a significant investor into Underdog. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know it sounds like it's kind of a scam what I'm promoting, saying you're getting $25 and my draft guide. I know that sounds like a deal that's literally too good to be true. It's not. I mean, it's a deal that's 100% legit. Mark Cuban is backing it. So I want to say Mark Cuban's on the Fantasy Flock Network team. Is that safe to say? Here we're going to go J.D. McKissic. Not a massive fan of J.D. McKissic, but I think if you look at this tier of wide receivers, actually, that may have been a mistake. We probably should have gone with the Christian Kirk. I think we got caught up with the Mark Cuban statement. I kind of got too excited about thinking Mark Cuban was on the side of the Fantasy Flock Network here. That may have been a mistake. Okay, it looks like our mouse is about to die too, so we got to fix this real quick. Okay. I cannot believe we're doing another draft after this. I know it's not that late where y'all are. I'm on the East Coast. And I probably have 100 draft guides to send out after this live stream. And I guaranteed I'm sending out all those draft guides. So I may have to be getting some caffeine in me right now. Okay, let me end that poll real quick. Let me end the poll that we did about Underdog and where you use it. It is interesting that most people use it on their computer. Are the people who know that they use it on their computer, that Underdog has that app that is really seamless and it's mainly set up for the phone? I don't want to say they're mainly set up for the phone, but they are 100% optimized for the phone. Austin says, when we use your code on Underdog, ? No, my man. Like I said at the beginning of the live stream, what you need to do if you want our draft guide after using code FLOCK, it's not set up to automatically send it to you, because a lot of people sign up with promo code FLOCK, not necessarily caring about my draft guide. More so, they just want to take advantage of the free $25 offer and opt in the drafts with me. So if you want our draft guide, all you have to do is shoot me a DM on either Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, Discord. All the links are going to be in the description of the video. I mean, you can figure it out in the live chat right now. If someone doesn't know how to get there, just ask the live chat. They'll point you exactly there. Shoot me a DM and say, hey, Mason, I use promo code FLOCK on Underdog, and include your email that you signed up for Underdog with. That way I can go through. I can go, okay, he did. Man, here's the draft guide. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let me know if you have any questions. So please make sure you shoot me that DM literally anywhere. I'm going to be checking every single site after this. And at the same time, I'm going to be checking them all day tomorrow. I'm going to be checking them all day tomorrow. I'm going to be checking them all day the day after that. So if you're watching this as a video a month from now, you can still take advantage. I will still get back to you in like 30 minutes. Okay, Gonzalez says, using the phone, it takes you to a web browser, and then you have to click open app to get in. When clicking the link, it takes a while to get in the drafts. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense, I guess, on why people are using the computer to get in our $5 drafts that fill up like that. That does make a lot of sense, my man. Mike says, it's 11:30 here. I'm right with you. Okay, I'm happy to hear that you're with me, my man. Okay, so let's get this mouse back connected, and let's look at where we are going to be going with this next pick. That J.D. McKissic selection was a really bad one. J.D. McKissic is not that different for me for a Rashad Penny, a James White. We should have gone wide receiver there. Possibly we go QB. We really should have gone receiver. That was such a bad call by me. It's like an embarrassingly bad call. I can't believe we took J.D. McKissic there. We took him at his ADP, but still, I don't like his ADP. That was a really bad draft pick on our end. Okay, so here I think we either get Daniel Jones or we get Marquez Callaway. We're just going to see who falls to us. Actually, there are so many quarterbacks that we're fine with. We're going wide receiver. James White goes off the board. So Marquez Valdes-Scantling would be my pick if it wasn't for the Randall Cobb signing. DeMarcus Robinson has to slide down now that Cornell Powell's running over him. So really the only wide receiver that we're looking for in this range, in this ADP range, is going to be Marquez Callaway. There's so many quarterbacks here that I'm fine with getting. We have Mahomes, so we're not necessarily looking for someone that we need to pop off. So yeah, we're just going to be drafting Callaway there and seeing how it plays out. Okay, Nick says Deshaun Watson might legit be in Philly by the end of the week. Hurts stonks are crashing. My man, let me know if that is legit, because let me know if there are any reports about Deshaun Watson that are seeming legit that he's going to Philadelphia, because if that's the case, I mean, we need to drastically change where we're evaluating Devonta Smith. Okay, let's go back. Let's look at the top of this draft board and let's do this exercise. I'm not saying that it's 100% a lock that Deshaun Watson's getting traded. I'm not even saying it's likely. But let's play the what if game. What if Deshaun Watson goes to Philadelphia? Let's see where Devonta Smith went in this draft. Okay, so Smith went at the 707. Let's climb him up the draft board to the point where we think he would be at. He jumps all these wide receivers right here. He jumps Robbie Anderson. He jumps Claypool. He jumps Galladay. He jumps Deontay. I think he's in this Brandon Ayuk range. I think he jumps to be an early 5th round pick. Let me know what y'all think. But if Deshaun Watson comes in, Deshaun Watson, we can't ignore the fact that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And it's not even debatable, to be completely honest. So if Watson does go to Philadelphia, how high does Devonta Smith go? JN decides to go to Deshaun Watson. Now, I think we actually do have to get a quarterback here if we want someone that's going to be able to start all 16 weeks. It's going to be really easy. I think we just go Zach Wilson, unless we have any stack potentials. Last night I missed a massive stack and it was just embarrassing. We don't. I think we just get Zach Wilson. Hopefully I didn't miss the stack option. Hopefully I didn't. So Zach Wilson is going to be our second quarterback. We only have to draft 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends in this build. So now we are only going to be drafting wide receivers and tight ends from here on out. We only have 2 more picks. So it's going to be interesting to see how this does play out. Okay, now let me go through. Let me send out a link for Underdog Fantasy for anybody who has not decided to use promo code FLOCK yet. Ahad says, what is the most you have ever won from a fantasy league? My highest buy-in league that I've actually ever won, I believe, was a $250 league. But at the same time, usually I would cap myself because keep in mind, I was a high-volume dynasty player and a high-volume guy getting into these fantasy leagues in college. So if I was wanting to play in 15, 20 leagues and I'm in college, I can't necessarily go out there and join $500 leagues. That would be about the dumbest thing ever, because I would have to join a $500 league, then I have to join a bunch of $20 leagues. Instead, I wanted to be in a lot of leagues that were in about the price point of just about $100. Like $100 was the perfect range. Anywhere from like 75 to like 150 was really my target goal for those leagues. So yeah, I haven't won a massive league. Now I'm looking to change that this year now that we have a little bit more money due to the Patreon support. Thank you everybody supporting the show on Patreon, allowing us to get into some higher stakes leagues and actually stream them on the channel. So yeah, hopefully we change that. Hopefully I have a better answer for you next offseason. But I'll tell you, I think the highest buy-in league we've won so far has been a 250. But keep in mind, guys, I know it sounds dumb for me to say, but I'm 22 years old. Okay, so now let's go through. Let's see where we are going to be after this. What we need is we need to see some quarterbacks and tight ends going off the board. Dawson Knox getting drafted helps us out significantly. Okay, Dakota says, Mason, please trash my team. I'm picking at the 106. Okay, my man, let me get this next pick in. Then we'll look at that 106 team, which is going to be, I believe, Florida G7. Yeah, that's going to be Florida G7. Okay, so Nick says Miles Sanders stock would fly up. Yes, sir. I'm right there with you. I mean, Miles Sanders would be going drastically higher in fantasy drafts. I think that is a great point to be made. Steven says we've hit 645 likes on the channel. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody going down there, dropping that like. I think what's even crazier is our subscriber count. I mean, we are just, it's an absurd mark that we've hit so far. Okay, so now let's pull this up. Let's see where we are going to be drafting. We're going to be going either running back or wide receiver. There are a lot of wide receivers we're intrigued in. Running back, I think we need another running back. We have 5. We have Mixon, Dobbins, Mostert, Jamal Williams. No, we do not need another running back. We're going wide receiver here. We're going to get Darius Slayton. Come on. Get him. Okay, yeah, we're going Darius Slayton. Okay, we went Slayton. There are a few other wide receivers that I'm looking at in that range, but I don't think they're going to fall back to us. And with Darius Slayton, I mean, he does have spike week potential. We saw it last year. I understand Kenny Golladay coming in. I understand Kadarius Toney coming in, but Slayton is not someone that's ever supposed to win off of volume. He's always supposed to win off efficiency, given the fact that he is a field stretching wide receiver. So yeah, we're going to go Slayton. Hopefully one of our other guys falls back to us with a different selection. Okay, so Olamide Zaccheaus goes at the 17-10. Maybe Zaccheaus is someone we need to be drafting higher because, I mean, in theory, he's the wide receiver 3 on a team that should have more passing volume than what you actually have. I mean, I guess he's the wide receiver 4. Kyle Pitts is there as well, so never mind. Ignore me. Okay, so let me go through and we're going to get to the 106 draft. Let's check out Florida. Okay, Kelsey, he gets, man, after getting Kelsey and CH, you probably really wanted to get Mahomes in the 4th, but I think you do have to take Robert Woods over him. Hawkinson in the 5th, Javonte in the 6th, blah. I'm just looking for a pick that I can make fun of, to be honest. I don't like the Trey Lance pick at the 10:07 when you have the potential to stack with Matthew Stafford around after. So I don't necessarily see the logic there of going Trey Lance in the 10th, even though I love Trey Lance. I think that for this team, a Matthew Stafford selection would have made more sense. Davis in the 11th, I am fine with. Madison in the 12th, I like. Campbell in the 13th as well. Kirk, Penny. I really like this team. I think the only little piece of thing that I can't even complain about it would be where you win at quarterback. Steven says, are you really going to do another? You're about to pass out. Yes, sir. I'm about to do another draft. This is going to be our 12th draft in the past 3 days. We've live streamed for 12 hours in the past 3 days. That doesn't count the podcast I make every day. That doesn't count the videos we make every day. So if you were ever going to drop a like on something, if you were ever going to subscribe to the channel, more importantly, if you were ever going to use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, now is the time. And we're going to get Byron Pringle, given the fact that we're just stacking Kansas City Chiefs pass catchers here. I mean, this is all in on the Kansas City Chiefs for this league where we go through. Let's recap my draft real quick before we set this next one up. Guys, like I said, we're going to be voting on the next league that we want to be doing. I mean, they all are just blending together at this point. But anyway, in this draft, we got Hill at the 108, Mixon at the 205, Dobbins at the 308, Mahomes to stack with Hill in the 4th, Andrews in the 5th, Odell, Debo, Hardman to get that Kansas City stack added in, Noah Fant, Raheem Mostert. Don't like Mostert, like the value in the 10th. Traquan Smith in the 11th, Jamal Williams, Sterling Shepard, J.D. McKissick, Marquez Callaway, Zach Wilson, Darius Slayton, Byron Pringle. Pringle's someone that I'm drafting a lot, and it's because we now are seeing that he may be the wide receiver 3 over Demarcus Robinson, which is massive, massive, massive for this format. Jan says Mason's jaw do be strong. Yes, yes, sir. My throat may be dead after this. But like I said, guys, if you were ever going to support the show, the number one way you can support the show is take advantage of the free $25 Underdog is giving out by using promo code FLOCK. Get my draft guide that we are going to be sending out all night tonight. Okay, I can't waste too much time. You've already seen that. You've already can go back, pause the draft, and look at exactly where the board went. So let me end this one. I'm sending out a poll right now saying, do y'all want a 50 or a 5? Which league? We're gonna do this really quick. 50 or 5. And then whatever has the majority vote by the time I go to set it up, that's the league size we are gonna do. Okay, so Zachary says, thoughts on my 110? My man, I am very, very sorry, but we have to get this next draft going. We're going to get done with this draft at probably like 12:40, which doesn't sound too bad to go to bed with, but when I'm going to be staying up for the next 2 to 3 hours sending out draft guides after this, yeah, we got to get this next draft going. Okay, so let's check out this poll. We have 49 votes, and oh my God, it's like split 50-50. Let me go to set this up, and then we'll see what it's going to be at. Okay, let's go to lobby. And like I said, guys, I'm going to send out a link in the live chat for a private draft. Don't go to the private draft. Don't go to the lobby and just join a public one. Okay, so it looks like it's literally 51-49. 51-49. Golf says, are you sending out the draft guide through Twitter? I'm sending it out through Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Discord, literally wherever you DM me. Okay, now it's 51-49 for the $50 league. This is ridiculous. Okay, we were supposed to do the $50 league the last time, and the $50 league's winning right now, 51-49. So we're gonna end that poll. We're gonna do a $50 league. We're gonna do a $50 league tomorrow. We'll get some $5 leagues going. Let me set up this 50. Let's make sure we don't mess this one up like we did the last one. I'm creating a private draft. I'm gonna send it out in the chat saying, join our $50 live draft. And oh my God, y'all can tell my brain is malfunctioning. It is malfunctioning. And I see a lot of people are saying do a 24-hour live stream. Guys, if y'all want me to do a 24-hour live stream, if we get 10,000 signups on Underdog with promo code FLOCK, this stream alone will get 10,000 views. So think this is a very realistic goal. If we get 10,000 signups with promo code FLOCK before we get to about week 10 of the season, I'm going to do a 24-hour live stream. And I'm going to be buying 4 tickets. Well, let me rephrase that. Underdog is buying 4 tickets for people to go to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Flock game with myself. I'm going to get a custom-made Flock mascot costume that I'll wear to the game. We'll vlog the entire day. We'll do a Florida meetup that day as well. We'll make an entire vlog out of it. It'll be a ton of fun. So let me send this out. So, of course, if y'all want a 24-hour live stream, if we get 10,000 signups, I would be ecstatic to do one. Y'all can see me pumping down caffeine. Y'all can see me just malfunctioning on a stream. I'll definitely have to invite some people on. $50 league. Okay, I just sent out the $50 league in the live chat. This time, I am 1,000,000% sure it's a $50 league, and it is not a $5 one. Okay, so let me switch this over real quick to show the screen. We'll drag this down so y'all can see how fast it fills. Okay, so the $50 one does feel a little slower. So if you're ever wanting to really jump in one, maybe this, okay, for a second I thought this wasn't going to fill. That slowed down for a good second. We got 1 spot left, so yeah, it's going to fill, no problem. Okay, now a big thing is this is a $50 league. So we need the 101. We need it. And instead we get the 110. A draft pick that we've gotten over and over and over again. This is just the entire draft we've been drafting in this range, to be completely honest. And I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it one bit. I don't know why Underdog has been doing this to us. I don't know if they didn't get my memo that if we're going to continue to do Underdog drafts every single night, I need the 101 and the 102 exclusively, and I'm not drafting anywhere else. And somehow we have done about 50 of these drafts, and I've gotten the 101 one time. I don't know if they don't have me in the algorithm to say, hey, you need to make sure this guy's getting his priority pick at the 101. We need to fix that. I'm probably going to go in and I'm probably going to have, I don't know. I'm going to throw a fit. That's what I'm going to do. I'm saying we need the 101 in every single draft. If we don't get the 101 in every single draft, we're going to have a problem because The 110 is just complete BS at this point. Zachary gets the 101. Zachary, a very sharp drafter. We know that he's most likely going to come away with the best team out of this draft. Oh my God. This is crazy. JP says, I'm in one of my first best ball leagues. My man, I am happy to have you in here with us. And also, we may pass 700 likes in this live stream. We may pass 700. Okay, so Zachary's on the clock. He's taking it down. Maybe just going to auto on Christian McCaffrey to be funny. No, he drafts Christian McCaffrey with a few seconds left. Okay, so... Okay, Bogoat says, third time I've gotten an error tonight. Shake my head. My man, I am sorry. I think it's just too many people joining the draft at once. Like I said, I know you've gotten in a ton of drafts tonight. I mean, not tonight, but so far this year. So everybody's going to have a chance to get in. I promise you that. We've done 12 drafts in the past. We've done 12 drafts in the past 3 days. And I promise you, once we get closer to the end of August, when we have a bunch of people coming out to the channel, we will come out and we will be doing way more than that. Okay. Blake says, I've gotten an error every time. No way to join at all. My man, I am sorry that's happened to you. Clearly, probably about 200-300 people have been able to do it outside of yourself. So I'm really, really sorry. I'm hoping in the next one that doesn't happen to you. There's literally just nothing. There's nothing I can do about that, my man. It's just so many people going to join. If you hit join after it's already been filled, it's going to give you an error just because it's filled. You can't join the draft. Okay, so Aaron Jones at the 109. So at the 110, do we go Barkley? Do we go Hill? We've done drafts with both starts so far. I don't think we're going to deviate from either one. So let's see where Florida goes. We're either taking Tyreek Hill or Saquon Barkley. Florida's gotten in a lot of these drafts tonight. Okay, I believe he's new. Atlanta, I believe, is new. We have a lot of new people in this draft. We have some regulars and Zach, Bate, Near, JN, but we have a lot of new people in this draft as well. So we're going to take Saquon Barkley here at the 110. Yeah, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine with that pick of Saquon Barkley. Justin says, this is the first one I've gotten in. I've tried so many times. Well, my man, thank you for not giving up on us. Thank you for continuing to try to join the drafts, and you finally got in one. So I'm very, very happy to hear that, my man. So yeah, we're going to go with Saquon Barkley there. We're going to see what falls to us at I believe last time we took Barkley, we actually started Barkley, Calvin Ridley. And I really did like how that draft went. But here we see the turn end up being Stephon Diggs and Calvin Ridley. Remember the days that you could get Devontae Adams in the second here? Those were the days, I'll tell you that. Okay, so Antonio Gibson goes, and I know a lot of people are screaming at us to go, Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb. I can hear it in the comment section already. But the problem is Nick Chubb's a committee running back. Now, yes, he's one of the best committee running backs in the NFL, but that doesn't change the fact that he's not going to get targets out of the backfield. He's averaged in 2019. If you look at his targets per game, he averaged 3 targets a game, which is great for Nick Chubb. But if you split it into the season, understanding when those targets came, they all came at the beginning. Once Kareem Hunt got back, he actually averaged 1.3 receptions per game with Kareem Hunt in 2019. And in 2020, Nick Chubb only averaged 1.3 receptions per game. I'm not drafting a running back that's averaging that high. I mean, Derrick Henry went over 2,000 rushing yards last year, and he still wasn't the running back one in fantasy. If you're not catching passes, you don't have access to that Christian McCaffrey level upside. We don't need that Christian McCaffrey level upside, but we need at least a little bit more than running back 4 overall upside. Yeah, so we're going to go DeAndre Hopkins there. Hopkins has a much higher floor and I think a comparable ceiling. So going Barkley Hopkins is a very fun start to this draft. Now, Waller goes a little bit earlier here than usual. So freaking Kanspa, actually, I'm sorry if I don't know how to say your name, my man. I believe this is the first draft you've got in with us. But here he decides to go Jones, which is a slight reach on Jones according to ADP. Now, I personally have Aaron Jones as our 109 in fantasy draft, so I don't think it's that big of a reach. And he goes Darren Waller at the 205, so slightly above average where both of those players go. But I mean, it's going to be just mainly interesting what he decides to do in the third round. Okay, Golf says, you don't like Eckler as much as compared to Saquon? Yeah, no, I clearly like Saquon Barkley more than Austin Eckler. It's not even close for me. Of course, I'd rather not have the injury concerns that we do with Saquon Barkley, but at the same time, I mean, he's a great pick at the 110. Okay, so now CEH at the 210. John says, why are you spamming join our next draft here code flock when you can't get in? My man, we have gotten in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people into these drafts this week. We've probably done 30 drafts this week. You do some simple math. There are 11 other spots. 11 times 30, 330. Now, yes, a lot of those people are repeats, but at least, at the very minimum, a few hundred people have gotten in these drafts. I mean, you can go through, you can pause it, you can count them all up from the streams. Don't tell me you can't, people can't get in. People can get in. And we're going to be doing this every single night. So if you haven't been able to get in for 3 days now, I'm very sorry that you've gotten that unlucky, but I would be surprised if that unluck continues to happen. Okay, so now let's pull this up real quick. George Kittle at the 302, CeeDee Lamb at the 301. Yeah, I'm going to continue to draft Kittle everywhere we can at the beginning of the third. I think just in a format like this, he gives you such an edge. Tanner says he sold his bike. My man, are you talking about like a motorized bike? Or are you talking about like a pedal bike? Please fill me in on. I don't remember having a conversation about this before. Congrats on selling your bike, but let me know what's going on here. Golf for Life says DeAndre Hopkins with a healthy Kyler Murray all year. I like him a lot. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins literally. I mean, if you take out the 1 year that he had with Brock Osweiler, since his breakout back in, I believe it was 2016, this is a wide receiver that is top five at the position. I mean, the consistency that he has without missing games at the same time is ridiculous. Where Hopkins, I'm going to be taking him over. I'm taking him over Nick Chubb everywhere. Okay, so Allen Robinson at the 306. Of course, y'all know we were looking at Allen Robinson as a possibility. Now Mahomes goes at the 307 to get that stack with Travis Kelce. Okay, so it looks like there are a lot of balanced teams so far in this draft. There's nobody that's really deploying a let's go all running back at the beginning or all wide receiver at the beginning. Looks like this is a balanced draft. I mean, I think that you're going to find that the $50 drafts are a little more balanced. At least I know I'm going to be a little more balanced with them because I'm going to be less likely to try out new things. Y'all have seen me in those $5 drafts, like drafted Darren Waller and a George Kittle back-to-back, seeing what would happen, seeing if we like the team at the end. And yeah, I'm willing to try out those things when we're playing in a $5 league. But if we're playing in a $50 league, I'm going to be a lot more conservative with the picks we're making. Okay, so now let's go through Carson at the 309. Is this the one pick y'all make me go Terry McLaurin? Now, I do have Robert Woods ranked over Terry McLaurin, but we already have drafted Robert Woods in a million leagues this offseason, and we haven't drafted Terry McLaurin in a single one. And I really wanted to go the entire offseason saying I haven't drafted Terry McLaurin once. But let's draft Terry McLaurin at the 310. I'm okay with the value at the 310. Okay, hear me out on this. Where whenever I'm saying that Terry McLaurin is one of the most overrated wide receivers in fantasy, that's when we were saying that at the beginning of the offseason. If you pull up those videos and we show you where the ADP used to be, Terry McLaurin used to go ahead of Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb in every single draft. And Michael Thomas used to be in this range, and I used to think Michael Thomas was a better pick as well. But we see how that story plays out. But I guess if those wide receivers go ahead of him, then we are fine taking Terry McLaurin at the 310. If we are only going to be playing in 1 or 2 leagues, then I'd go Robert Woods. But when we're playing in 200 leagues, I think we go with Terry McLaurin. Even though I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I just want to stress this so people don't look at this draft board and go, oh, I guess Mason likes Terry McLaurin. No, I don't. Please don't be thinking to draft Terry McLaurin here. Now we can actually, at the next pick, I thought we were going to get a wide receiver that we actually had ranked ahead of Terry McLaurin as well, which is funny, in Chris Godwin. I really like that Chris Godwin value. So here the thing is, do we go Julio? Do we go Cooper Kupp? I really like going Cooper Kupp when we get Robert Woods in the third so we can set ourselves up for that Rams stack. I think we actually go with the Julio Jones. Yeah, so we're going to go with Julio as our wide receiver 3. So this is going to be a start of, let me slide this overall screen up real quick. That way we can see this. It's going to be a start of Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, Terry McLaurin, and Julio Jones. Please let me know what y'all think of that. And also, guys, if you have yet to hear, there's a very interesting thing that YouTube actually just developed and launched. I was watching Google's last stock share meeting, and I mean, they had an absurd development. I mean, it's probably going to take YouTube to the next level, but they came up with some kind of technology called a subscribe button. Now, I don't fully understand it. I heard, though, that if you hit it, especially on this channel, it's going to make you a way better fantasy football player. Now, I don't know how that works. I can't give you an explanation on exactly how that works, but I have heard if you hit that button, you automatically become a better fantasy player. You get to come out to these live streams way more often. And more importantly, if you hit that bell next to that button, you're going to be able to come out and join the stream right away, get in a draft right away. So yeah, I mean, it's some groundbreaking technology by YouTube. I heard they also have a like button down there, but I'm not even going to get into that because I don't understand it. Just ridiculous. Okay. So Wesley says, you think chop block rule change hurts pass catching running backs? My man, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not smart enough to have an opinion on that. I'm not going to talk about something that I don't fully understand. I'm not smart enough to have an opinion on it. If you hear anybody else who really, you can trust what they're saying, sure. If you're hearing some guys that are just talking from their garage going, oh, I think this, then I'd be a little hesitant. I'm not smart enough to say what I think about that. Luis says, just click the video, like button smash. Happy to hear that, my man. Let me know what y'all think about the chop block rule. I mean, like I said, I don't want to, it's very similar to some other things that I get asked where I'm very open and honest, where I'm willing to be smart enough to admit that I'm dumb and that I'm going to be wrong on a lot of things. So I don't want to talk about things that I don't fully comprehend. So I just have no idea about that, my man. So please, if anybody in the chat can help out on that, I would love to hear it. Okay, so there was a massive wide receiver run in the 4th round. Okay, so we went the entire 4th round with the only pick being a non-wide receiver was Miles Sanders. So when we draft DeAndre Hopkins, Terry McLaurin, and Julio Jones, you better believe that we love to see that wide receiver run happen. So it is interesting to see Jacobs and Etienne go at the beginning of the 5th. Of course, I would have loved to see them fall to us. That's just not realistic. Now, it is interesting. If Kyler Murray does fall to us in the 5th round, we will be selecting Kyler Murray based on the fact that that's the range that he's drafted. So we're not necessarily reaching on him significantly, and we're getting that stack with DeAndre Hopkins. Like I said, if you're going to take an elite quarterback early, I want to make sure you're getting that stack. You don't necessarily have to go out of your way to do so, but I mean, definitely that's going to be the play. So yeah, if we do have him falling to us in the 5th, that could be a pick that we look to go with. Okay, so now let's go see. Daryl Henderson goes, okay, Kyle Pitts, y'all know, I have yet to draft Kyle Pitts in a single league. Maybe if he gets to the 6th, we'll consider him, but I like TJ Hawkinson. I like Mark Andrews more, so there's no real reason for me to draft them. There's some interesting wide receivers here as well. Mike Davis, not considering. Mike Davis, we drafted him yesterday at the 6'10", and I still didn't like that pick. We drafted him at the 6'10", the 10th pick in the 6th round. I clicked the button, and I threw up a little bit in my mouth. It was gross. Okay, so let's see where, let me look at the draft board to try to guess where they're going to go. Okay, so he went Jones, Waller, double wide receiver. Here, I have no idea where they're going to go. They can go anything. Okay, so he goes Mike Davis. Thank God he goes Mike Davis. Okay, so Florida, let's see where he decides to go. I'm fine. If he does decide to go with Kyler Murray, who cares? We'll get Kenny Golladay. We're going to pass on tight end knowing that there are 3 guys. Maybe one of them makes it back to us. It's not a guarantee given the fact that there are 4 picks between ours. But yeah, I think we pass on tight end. He goes Hawkinson. Okay, so now that's interesting. We're taking Kyler really no matter what. So with Kyler Murray, it's a natural fit on this roster, having him go alongside DeAndre Hopkins. So now we can possibly be loaded across really all positions. And like I said, the one advantage you're getting by getting that elite quarterback is you're only having to draft 2 QBs in this format, which is massive because you can use an extra one of those bench spots on wide receiver for a best ball league. That is great. Okay, CB says, came across your channel the other day and I love the content I'm seeing. Respect the grind you're putting into this. Keep up the great work. My man, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so let's see where we're going to be going in the 6th. Kyle Pitts goes off the board. So yeah, like I said, we're going to have a lot of chances to draft Kyle Pitts this year, and I don't know if we really go through and we look at any of them. Okay, Golf for Life says, how are your buys? Our buys are fine. Thank God. Whew. Our buys are fine. Javonte Williams goes at the 601. Javonte, someone we've been drafting a lot as of late. Okay, so Myles Gaskin goes. Okay, so I'm happy to see Mark Andrews fall to us. It would be either down between Mark Andrews or Robbie Anderson for us. Now, because we went 3 wide receivers heavy at the beginning, I'm not necessarily feeling the need. Actually, I guess we go Hunt. I mean, maybe we can go Hunt. I know I just completely went off track. Do we go Hunt? No, we're going to go Mark Andrews. We're going Mark Andrews. Hunt was interesting. I may have made a mistake there. This is my 12th draft in the past 3 days. We've been live for 12 hours in the past 3 days, guys. Cut me some slack. Andrews in the 6th, I don't hate, but I think Hunt may have been the better pick. Because the big thing is, when we drafted Kyler Murray, we do free ourselves up that one more roster spot, which I said we can go wide receiver, but if we go Hunt there instead, we could just allocate that extra roster spot to tight end and draft 3 tight ends later. So this is going to be another draft where we're only drafting 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. But let me know what y'all are thinking. Definitely, we are either considering Hunt or Andrews there. Let me know if y'all think I should have gone Hunt, because I love me some Kareem Hunt. Okay, Masked Enigma says he would rather have Mark Andrews over Kareem Hunt. Okay, it looks like a lot of people in the chat were saying Andrews. I just love Kareem Hunt. Okay, so John says Goddard or A.J. Dillon at the 802. Okay, so are we going to be drafting at the 802, or are you asking for yourself? Okay, so man, I will say that's mainly going to depend on your construction, to be honest. Okay, so Eli says, why are you so down on Mike Davis? Mike Davis is mainly a bet on his projected opportunity, not necessarily his talent. Usually running backs historically that are going in the 5th round based on their projected opportunity, not their talent. Those are the worst bets that you can make in fantasy. We have seen that over the past decade. And along with this, if it would be different, say he was playing on the Chiefs, say he was playing on a team like the Dallas Cowboys, then you're projecting him to be an elite offense and he could have a ton of touchdown opportunities. Well, that's not going to be the case in Atlanta. So Mike Davis, I really don't like Mike Davis. Zachary says, what do you think of Xavier Jones? Interesting now, but 100% the Los Angeles Rams are going to be bringing someone in. NRG Fantasy Focus says, with your current roster construction, I like Hunt better. I think I do as well, my man. It's a very intriguing thing. And I know a lot of people aren't viewing it like this, but with best ball, I mean, your roster construction matters so much that I think that Kyler Murray pick in the 5th honestly kind of has an impact on how I'm viewing a Mark Andrews. Because a Mark Andrews, a piece of the value that you're getting is only having to draft 2 tight ends. But if you get Kyler Murray, you have the capability of having the option of just drafting 3 tight ends and not necessarily hurting your wide receiver room. Okay, I just looked it up. We passed 27.8 thousand subscribers. We passed 27.8 thousand subscribers. The first day that YouTube comes out with this technology called the subscribe button. That is massive. I think that means we're going to be at 56,000 subscribers if my math is right by tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to be able. I'm never going to be able to talk to my family again. I'm going to tell them I'm Brad Pitt. I'm going to tell them I'm too famous. Oh my God. If my math is right, we're hitting 56,000 because YouTube just came up with that subscriber technology. Okay, so now let's go through, and Russell Wilson at the 705. We actually took Wilson at the 706 just because I thought it was too good value to pass up on. Actually, no, we took him later than that. I think we took him at the 710 in that draft because, yeah, we had Saquon Barkley on that team. So maybe that wasn't bad. Yeah, I think Russell Wilson, we were fine there, even though we didn't have the stack. Okay, so we have some wide receivers going off the board. Here, we're either going to be, I would have loved to have an Edmonds fall to us, but Edmonds falling to us would have been a pipe dream. Here where we're either looking running back or wide receiver. We can't go tight end or quarterback. We literally can't. Okay, so Florida, maybe he decides to go Justin Herbert. He has 3 running backs. Okay, so don't go Juju. Don't go Juju. Please don't go Juju. He goes Justin Herbert. Thank God. Whew. Thank God. I was so worried. We're getting our guy, Juju Smith-Schuster. Lock it in. Oh my gosh, this team's good. Okay, so God dang it. This is how you know it's getting late here, guys. It's midnight. Okay, so we got Barkley, Hopkins, McLaurin, Julio, Kyler, Andrews, Juju. So we have 4 wide receivers, a running back, a quarterback, a tight end. This is how I'm planning on a lot of my teams looking, to be honest. I want to be going heavy wide receiver in the mid rounds. I want to be getting a 3-down running back at the very top. Then I want to be throwing darts at running backs later on in the drafts. This is really what I recommend other people to be doing, given the fact that wide receivers are going to have much higher hit rates than running backs in this range of the draft. So yeah, I like this start so far. Now it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with what running backs we can bring in. Okay, so here we have Z-Wack drafting right before us. He has 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers. So possibly he goes a Dallas Goedert here to get his first tight end. What we're going to see, and also, guys, this is a $50 league as well. I got to be on top of my game here. He goes Brandon Cooks. I think that is great, and that gives us the opportunity to go Michael Carter. Like I said, Michael Carter, He's been a running back that I've been low on, and I think I've been too low on him because y'all know I'm always the first person to admit when I'm wrong. And Michael Carter opened up training camp getting reps with the #1 offense. That is significant. You never see rookies opening up training camp getting reps with the #1 offense. So the fact that Carter does that right away really shows what this team thinks about him. So yeah, getting him at the 803, I think is going to be a pretty good move for us. Okay, NRG says, I actually don't like Juju this year. They are projecting him to be in the slot, and he hasn't proven to be that effective there. My man, Juju's been very effective in the slot. He's been more effective in the slot than he's been on the outside. Maybe I don't think I'm wrong with that. I think that's pretty much a fact, to be honest. Golf for Life says, this could be one of your best teams today. Best ball, 3 positions. I like it, my man. Thank you, my dude. Like I said, with Michael Carter, I will be the first one to admit he was actually going later than this earlier this offseason. He was actually going in like the 9th, 10th round. And I was out there and I was saying that I thought he was overrated. I was saying, do not draft Michael Carter in the 9th, 10th round. Now, of course, I'm still not over the moon to draft him. And he is, I believe, going to continue to rise in drafts. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going over here with a Trey Sermon and a Chase Edmonds sometime soon. But I have to kind of take a small L here, and I have to raise him up, given the fact that he is getting reps with the first team. He's one of the biggest risers for me for training camps this year. Okay. So, yeah, guys, Juju at the 7-10. I love in this format in best ball. You don't have to know exactly when to start him. Brandon says Juju is 100% more effective in the slot rather than outside. Yes, sir, I agree with you. And my dudes, because it's so late, I'm going to let my dog in here. She really wants in. I hear her out there. I'm going to let her in. I got her a dog bed so she can stay in the room as we stream. Literally, it'll take me 5 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We're 1 like away from 700. Come here, little girl. Come on. You can come in. Go in your bed. Good girl. That's a good girl, Miley. That's a good girl. Lay down. Can you lay down? Okay, yeah, I had to let her in. She was really excited to come in. I'm glad I did that. Yeah, but I got her a bed, so hopefully she isn't just running everywhere in the office because usually she wants to come in here, but when I let her in, then she's just going crazy. Okay, yeah, we passed 700 likes in the live stream. That is massive. Thank you, my dudes. Eric says, just got here last draft. My man, I could have sworn I saw your name in the live chat earlier, but yes, this is going to be our last draft, my dude. Okay, so now after Carter, we do have some wide receivers going off the board, but we already have 4 wide receivers on this team, so it's not going to be a need for us to go out there and really get our 5th. So Link Dog says, let Miley in. Yes, sir, I got her in. I'm not going to put her up on the stream. She's on the other side of the room on her dog bed, and also we have like light cords and everything that if she was going to get over here, she would knock it over. So yeah, she's staying on the other side. And I'm not doing any like incentives because we already, I said there was a 0% chance we got over 600 likes in this live stream. And we got over 700. I don't know what this chat is possible of at this point. Okay, now AJ Dillon goes at the 902. Really like that Dillon value. You see AJ Dillon go here every single draft. And I would just wish we had more teams where we had the 101. I wouldn't mind taking CMC. This CMC team is good. This is a really good CMC team. So here Zachary went Christian McCaffrey, wide receiver, which I think you do with when you have Christian McCaffrey because he gives you such a luxury with the amount of points he is going to be scoring every single week. Maybe I would even push it a little further. And instead of Trey Sermon here, maybe we get an elite quarterback, or instead we go with another wide receiver and then we go James Robinson, AJ Dillon. And I know that's crazy, but Christian McCaffrey is literally just in a best ball format like this. He just completely changes everything. Okay, so now on this team, we go through, I think we're still looking mainly running back, wide receiver. If quarterback was some massive value and we had a stack, we could go with it. But I don't think any quarterbacks that are the massive values we have potentials to stack with. Obviously, Michael Pittman needing to fall, given the fact that you have the Carson Wentz, given the fact that you have the Quentin Nelson injury, that overall offense is just going to be significantly worse. So now I think that we have a clear pick here. If he actually falls to us, maybe we actually go running back. We only have 2 running backs. No, we are going to be going with Devontae Parker here. Devontae Parker, I believe he got activated from the PUP. Going to be playing a lot of snaps, going to be seeing a decent amount of targets. And also at the same time, we know that with Devontae Parker, this is a wide receiver that does have that spike week potential. So getting him in here as our wide receiver 5, I am going to be excited about. Eric says, can you show the top real quick, please? Yes, sir. I'll show that top very quickly. So far this draft, we went Barkley, Hopkins. Reluctantly, we had to draft Terry McLaurin, Julio Jones, Kyler Murray, Mark Andrews, Juju, Michael Carter, and Devontae Parker. So please let me know what y'all think about this draft, my dudes. Okay, now let's go through. JP says, is it just one quarterback per week? Yes, sir, it's one quarterback per week, but quarterbacks are actually going to be at a slight premium compared to a regular 1 QB league, given you don't have access to the waiver wire, so there's no way you can ever go through and stream the position. Okay, but after going Devontae Parker, let me double check the buys, but I think we're actually going to be excited to take a running back here. So for everybody in the live chat screaming at me over and over and over again to draft Melvin Gordon, I'm considering him. I will say that I'm considering him or Zach Moss. The thing is, Zach Moss is going to be a part of a much better offense. That's what it comes down to. I'm going to get the guy that's in a better offense, and he's younger, and he's ascending while Melvin Gordon's descending. So I considered Melvin Gordon for everybody. I considered it. But no, we're going to get Zach Moss. And I don't even like Zach Moss. I hated Zach Moss last year coming out of Utah, at least as a draft prospect. And I didn't like him in fantasy either. Austin said, why do you take Saquon? Because Saquon Barkley is one of the few running backs that has an elite ceiling similar to a Christian McCaffrey based on what we have seen with his usage in the receiving game and the talent of a running back that we know Saquon Barkley is. So yeah, I mean, Barkley has the size where he can get utilized every single touch in the red zone. He has the passing down capability where he can catch every single target out of the backfield. How many other running backs fit that mold? Literally only Christian McCaffrey. I guess Ezekiel Elliott too as well. But other running backs at the top, I mean, Alvin Kamara can't get every touch. Dalvin Cook. There are 4 running backs. I'm sorry. You have CMC, you have Dalvin Cook, you have Ezekiel Elliott, and you have Saquon Barkley. So getting Barkley at the 110, I know that he has some injury concerns, but I think the reward is worth the risk. Okay, NRG Focus says, a reason you take Gordon is because of Singletary. My man, I am much more worried about Javonte Williams than Devin freaking Singletary. Austin says, was Aaron Jones off the board? Aaron Jones was off the board there at the 108 before we took Saquon Barkley. Not saying we would draft Aaron Jones over Saquon Barkley, but did that answer that question? Yes. Drew says, Jalen Reagor going to be catching passes from Deshaun Watson. My man, if that happens, I promise you, Jalen Reagor, he is going to be, just think about the emergency live stream that we are going to get going if that trade actually goes down. That would be ridiculous. Okay, so now we have some more quarterbacks. We have Trey Lance, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence. Okay, so we like seeing quarterbacks go off the board when we get Kyler in the 5th, because when we get Kyler in the 5th, I'm fine just getting a bum at the end, to be completely honest. Okay, now let's go through and see. Nick says, I am also a Bills season ticket holder, and I think Moss has a better grasp. Okay. We got some on-the-field scouting out here. Also, guys, actually, let me pull up my phone real quick and look at the YouTube video because we have not had a chance to see the actual sign on my phone, how it looks. So let me pull this up. Also, I can drop a like. We have 722 likes in the live stream. Oh, my God. Let me see. Okay, the ad's in playing. Okay, that flock sign looks pretty dang good. That flock sign looks really good. You can see the cord coming down. So yeah, I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, good thing I pulled that up. Okay, so we need to fix the cord. We need to put it on the side. But yeah, that looks really good. Okay, Leonard Fournette goes at the 1104. Okay, so how many running backs do we have? We have 3 running backs. Okay, Moss was a pick we needed to make. We couldn't have gone wide receiver there. Bateman, Marvin Jones would have been intriguing. But yeah, no, we needed to go running back. We like seeing tight ends go off the board once we have Mark Andrews as well. Jayan says, I hate my draft. I did horrible tonight, both drafts. I didn't remember seeing your last draft, my man, but I'll definitely take a look at this one once we get both these picks through. So you drafted from the 103. And then the 103 is the spot we've drafted from a decent amount, the 103 and the 104. God, my throat is killing me. Look, how many DMs do you think we've gotten as well, needing to send out those draft guides? And I know, guys, we say this over and over and over again, but it's because I want y'all to take advantage. Promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. Come get in a draft with me. Get a $25 bonus on a $10 deposit. And at the same time, if you move your $10, you're not buying anything. You're just moving it to a different platform. You move your $10 to the bank account to Underdog Fantasy so you can play fantasy drafts with it. They're giving you $25 and you're getting my draft guide. Most people are selling their draft guides for $60, $70. I would argue mine's better. And all it costs you is to move $10 and sign up for a site. It's not Underdog doesn't do subscriptions or anything. It's like a one-time thing. Okay, so now Gus Edwards is an easy pick here, right? Yeah, I'm not missing anything. Gus Edwards, a perfect fit for this format, given the fact that he's getting touches every single week. And at the same time, I mean, you could see him go through and provide a spike week potential where possibly he falls his way into the end zone twice. And if anything were to happen to J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards definitely going to be a top 15 running back in fantasy. Luke says, I never realized the cord till you just now mentioned it. My man, I am sorry about that. I guess so David Johnson at the 111. Okay, so we need to see some more running backs go off. We need a wide receiver falling back to us. Actually, I guess we can go anywhere. We have 1 quarterback, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and a tight end. Yeah, we can go anywhere. Rager, I mean, the reports coming out of training camp are saying Rager looks really bad. Let's look wide receiver. Okay, tight end, Adam Trautman, Irv Smith. Irv Smith, I'm not jumping up and down to draft in this range. I'm not really with either the running backs or wide receivers either, though. We have Jamal Williams in like every single league. We literally have Jamal Williams in so many spots. Okay, Irv Smith went anyway. It's either Terrace Marshall or... Okay, let's look. Our wide receiver room, we have 5 guys that we are very confident in. So we're going to go Jamal Williams. If we get Jamal Williams here, he'll be our 5th running back, and we're done at the running back position. That's definitely our play. Because here we have guaranteed touches, which is very valuable in a best ball draft. And at the same time, I mean, if anything happened to these running backs in their league mates' backfield, I mean, they're going up draft boards. So I really do like that. Drew says, Mason, you playing any pick'em on Underdog? My man, I am not smart enough to play pick'em Underdog where they're going through and they're doing MLB right now. Now, what I'm going to do is I haven't committed to saying I'm going to do this yet. But if we get to the NFL season, what I'll probably do is I'll look at the pick'em for Underdog. And if I like it, then I'll go through and I'll make videos talking about my picks. Now, I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen because if I look at it and I go, okay, I don't know if we can make money on this. I don't know if we're going to be good enough. Then I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to go over it because I'm confident that you become a much better fantasy player when you're looking at these drafts. I'm confident that if you do a lot of these drafts and you go over to your other leagues, you're going to make more money than you would have otherwise. I'm not confident if I start making some pick'em videos that you're going to make more money. The last thing I want you to do is lose money based on my advice. So I don't know if we're going to do pick'em videos. It's that simple. I can't do them on baseball because I'm not smart enough about baseball. And they don't have them right now for NFL. So we're going to test it out this year. I'll probably go through, look at it week 1. It's going to be very simple right now. I think that it's not going to be me needing to test it out for a few weeks. I'll probably have to put out a disclaimer for the first few weeks saying I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think once they put up those week 1 lines, I'll be able to figure out right away if it's something that we like. Okay, let's go through and let's look at JN's draft because we said that we were going to do that at the beginning. Okay, so we went Adams at the 103, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift. Okay, so I think it is interesting because I think I kind of agree that you need to go running back after you take Davante Adams at the 103 if you can. But Keenan Allen is obviously such a massive value. Let's go through. Let's look at this draft with and without Keenan Allen. Okay, so Adams, CEH, Swift, Jamar Chase. Chase, I'm fine taking him. I like taking Jamar Chase over these wide receivers. ETN at the 503. Gallup over Shenault. Maybe we prefer Shenault. I mean, Antonio Brown at the 703. Jalen Waddle at the 810. Then Noah Fant at the 903. Logan Thomas went at the, Noah Fant. Fair value on Noah Fant. Jalen Hurts at the 1010. Fine with it. Gabriel Davis at the 1103. Gabe Davis, I'm okay with it, not in love with it. But I've taken Gabe Davis a lot, and I'm okay with it, not in love with it. Tua, Gerald Everett. I like the Gerald Everett pick. So what happens? What would this team look like if you go Keenan Allen instead? You still have CEH. You still have Travis Etienne. Maybe a running back. I think that what would have been a better play here, my man, I'm just nitpicking, I'm just trying to say anything that I think could be better because that's what I do with my own teams. Possibly it would have been better to go with Keenan Allen over DeAndre Swift in the 3rd. In hindsight is 2020. Of course, he didn't know he was going to fall. But then if you switched Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Keenan Allen, and you could switch DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen, and you could switch Michael Gallup and Chase Edmonds, would you prefer having the combination of Keenan Allen and Chase Edmonds or DeAndre Swift and Michael Gallup? I would probably prefer the Keenan Allen combination. So I think that's probably the one thing that we would change. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20, but that's, I think, what we would do. Okay. Okay, so WIG says, gun to your head, do you take a Jerry Jeudy or Courtland Sutton? My man, I'm taking Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy, I think we initially had Courtland Sutton ranked over Jeudy, but there are a few things going on. A, I think that was a bad call to begin with. And B, the reports about Courtland Sutton's knee aren't necessarily the best. So I think we go Jerry Jeudy. That's definitely an update that I'm having to make in the rankings, but I need to make an update with the rankings. I can't do it tonight because I have so many draft guys to send out. I need to move Devontae Adams to 3. I need to flip Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, even though the reason I haven't been so adamant to go out there and make that flip right away is because I know that if you're going off our rankings, you're never drafting Jerry Jeudy. You're never drafting Courtland Sutton anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter. We have them ranked so low compared to consensus. Okay, so now we are up on the 13-10. So we can't go running back here. We can really go quarterback. We can go quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. Do we go Jonnu Smith? I do like Jonnu Smith. Yeah, we're going to go Jonnu. Maybe we have to get 3 tight ends because we did wait a while. It's going to depend on the kind of value we get later on in the draft. This has been just a fantastic draft, top to bottom, though. Oh, yeah, no, Jerry Jeudy in Dynasty, easily. We've always had Jerry Jeudy over Courtland Sutton in Dynasty. I thought we were talking 20-21, though. Jeff says, I got my girlfriend a Fantasy Flock Network engraved anklet. Can I get a shout out, brother? I love the videos, man. My man, Jeff, I don't know if you got her anklet that has Fantasy Flock Network engraved on it. If so, I'm going to give you the biggest shout out ever. And I know that didn't happen. I think maybe it's just you're either making a joke or just trying to tag me with it. But congrats anyway on getting your girlfriend a gift. The gift would be a lot more badass if it said Fantasy Flock Network on it. So I'm really hoping that is what you did. And because I'm sure, my man, if your girlfriend probably got that anklet, to be completely honest, and she was like, yes, just what I wanted, a Fantasy Flock Network engraved anklet. And then she probably opened it up and she was like, oh yeah, like she probably told you she liked it. She probably didn't really like it because it didn't have Fantasy Flock Network engraved on it. But I'm sure for the next one, you'll learn your lesson and you'll get it engraved with the Fantasy Flock Network. Okay, so now let's be on the clock again. I think we go wide receiver. Yeah, we have 5 wide receivers. I think we take Sterling Shepard here, someone that's going to be seeing a lot of snaps, seeing a lot of targets. I think in this format, he does make sense, even though we have drafted him over and over and over and over and over again. But I think at this point, I mean, he has to be in the same range of those Indianapolis guys with Carson Wentz injury and with everything. Okay, so Jeff says, I'll send a pic, brother. Trust me. Wait, so you actually, there's a 0% chance you got her a Fantasy Flock Network anklet. There's a 0% chance. If that's the case, you better send me a picture. I'll retweet it. I'll post it on Instagram. You better send me a picture. WI3G says, Mason, my girl refuses to sleep unless she takes Xanax or your voice is playing in the background. It's pretty damn annoying, but hey, I'll take the live drafts, brother. My man, I think your girl just wants to hear my voice. I don't think that's what it is. I think, like, I would be concerned if I were you, to be completely honest. I mean, tell her that I'm 5'10". I mean, you don't even want to hear that I'm 5'10" because I'll probably steal her right away from you. Now, if I were you, I'd be concerned about that, my man. She learns that I'm 5'10", and she's going to be all over it. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go back to fantasy football. And Lank Dog says, would you look at my team? Mason, yes, sir. Let me pull that up for you, my man. Okay, so at the 112, go wide receiver, wide receiver. We have seen that very popular start about Diggs and Calvin Ridley. Then Montgomery. Okay, your other running back would have been Sanders. I'm fine passing on Sanders and taking Evans. Kyle Pitts at the 512. I do not like Kyle Pitts. I like the value, though. Javonte Williams at the 601. You definitely needed another running back. Damian Harris at the 712. You take Harris over Will Fuller. I prefer Will Fuller. I'm just not a fan of Damian Harris, to be completely honest. Y-Dog says, yeah, I'm 6'1", though. Yeah, no, my man, me saying that I was 5'10", that was a joke about how short I was. That was not me trying to flex on y'all. That was literally me making fun of myself for being short. That's not me. That's not me trying to talk about you being 6'1", man. Okay, but anyway, let's keep on going down. You got Will Fuller, Corey Davis. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. You take Damian Harris and Will Fuller back to back. So Will Fuller and Damian Harris are the same. Ignore me there. Then Corey Davis, Ryan Tannehill. So Corey Davis goes. So you take these two guys. I need to stop looking at these. I need to start looking at these as back-to-back picks. I'm so dumb. Tannehill, Tannehill was the last quarterback in that tier. I love the Tannehill pick. Devin Singletary, I'm fine with the Singletary pick. We've been getting him in the 13th a lot. Now Rager in the 12th, Hilton in the 13th, Lindsey in the 14th. So you took Lindsey at really the last tier of RB. Yeah, I think that's a solid draft overall. I don't necessarily know how I feel about going wide receiver if you're going to be passing up on those running backs like an Antonio Gibson. I don't have a strong stance on it yet. It's definitely something I need to figure out. But those team builds, I don't know if it's just because you have to pick at the end, but it's definitely it's a way weaker team than some of the teams over here. I mean, Zachary's like crushing you right now, but I don't necessarily know what we would change from your draft. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's the fact that you went wide receiver. I don't know if it's the fact that you just got unlucky and got the 12th pick overall. Zachary says, what do you think of the 101? I went back-to-back quarterback stacks. So you got the Cousins stack. Yeah, man, you killed that. The 101 is the best pick in the draft. I mean, not only is it the best pick in the draft, but you did exactly what you needed to and take advantage of the flexibility that Christian McCaffrey gives you from a roster construction standpoint. Yeah, no, that was a fantastic draft. You also go through and you get the backfield stack in as well with Austin Hooper. Did you get Adam Thielen here? No. It would have been very intriguing if you had Adam Thielen fall to you and you got that double stack as well. Okay, so Mike says, how are freaking Ricans Tampa looking with the stacks? Okay, that's what it is. Okay, freaking Ricans Tampa. Okay, man, I think you spelled that wrong. Or am I stupid? Okay, freaking Rican. Okay, no, I am stupid. It's just TPA. That's just short for Tampa. I'll get to that in a second, my man. I've been in Tampa for about 10 days now, so excuse me that I don't know the acronyms. Okay, so now let's prepare our next draft. Our next draft pick. I'm just not going Fitzpatrick. I'm not going Fitzpatrick in any of these drafts. We can go anywhere. I don't know why I just try to filter by position because I don't think this team's solved anywhere. And we've been doing a much better job with the bye weeks. Shout out to us for spacing out these bye weeks. Then we go Brashad Perriman here. The thing with Brashad Perriman is in a league where if you had to submit your starting lineup each and every week, I'm not a massive fan of Brashad Perriman. I mean, that's going to be a spot where good luck trying to figure out when you need to start him. But in a format where you're just going to get him at the end of the 15th and he can slide into your starting lineup whenever he has a pop-off week, he's going to be playing a significant amount of snaps. I do like Perriman there. I mean, KJ Hamler, obviously a way, way, way better wide receiver talent than Brashad Perriman. But if we're looking at these two guys and knowing the opportunity that they're going to get with the snaps that they can play, I think there we actually prefer Perriman. Okay, guys, I'm going to be up until 3 a.m. tonight. If y'all have not used promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. Let me look at how many subs we actually have right now. Okay, it's Derek Carr at the 1601. Okay, let's pull this up. We are going to have to get a second quarterback. We're going to have to get a quarterback here because it will dry up sooner rather than later. We look at some stack options. Roethlisberger, we have Juju. Darnold, we have nobody. Really, those are the only options I want. We're going to get Ben Roethlisberger. I know Fitzpatrick is way higher than him in ADP. I'm not going to draft Fitzpatrick in a single league. Now, Fitzpatrick, yes, 100% going to have more spike weeks than Ben Roethlisberger, but Ben Roethlisberger is going to be coming through and he's going to be getting more games played. And I think what we actually care about here, and I could be wrong, but when we have Kyler Murray and we invested a 6th round pick into him, we spent the 5-10 with him. I think we're mainly just looking at that as a spot where we kind of are so committed with Kyler that if he fails, we fail. So I don't think we necessarily need the spike weeks that we get from Fitzmagic. We more so just need to make sure that if Kyler misses time, we have a starting quarterback to come in. Derek says, Flock looks at subscribers like I roster bait after a draft. Yes, sir, that's exactly what I do. Okay, Nash's Cash says, my UT season ticket games just got a lot more interesting. My man, that is massive. I did not even think about that. That is crazy. Y Dog says, are you doing another draft? My man, are you on crack? Am I doing another draft? It's 12:30. I have to send out probably 100 draft guides from people joining Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK with thank you notes, probably answer a bunch of questions. No, I cannot do another draft. I will be doing more drafts tomorrow night. I'll be doing more drafts the night after that. I'll be doing more drafts the night after that. I'll be doing more drafts the night after that. I'll be doing more drafts every single night until we get to the season. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that bell next to the subscribe button so you know when we're drafting and you can come out with us and get your account set up on Underdog Fantasy by using promo code FLOCK, my dude. Okay, so was this a timeout pick? Okay, so Fitzpatrick finally goes at the 1608. Okay, that's the furthest you are ever going to see Fitzpatrick fall in any one of these drafts. I'll say at that point, yeah, of course you're going through and you're drafting him. But, I mean, I just think I prefer in this format. I mean, if you're streaming, I am perfectly fine with you going out there and taking him a lot earlier than this. But in a best ball league, I want to be making sure we're getting guys that are going to be playing each and every week. Okay, so Sam Darnold at the 1611. Okay, so yeah, Darnold would have been actually the other quarterback I would have considered over Ben Roethlisberger. The thing is, you were going to find that QB position probably dried up sometime soon. So Dawson Knox at the 1702. Malcolm Brown at the 1703. I think, what do y'all think? Do y'all think I need to draft another running back here? Let me switch this back over and kind of show my roster for a second. Okay, so here at running back, the thing is we have so many, I guess we really don't have an answer for running back 2, and we're kind of going with the committee, so it probably does make sense to draft another running back, especially when we are confident with our wide receiver, so it doesn't make sense for us to have to go out there and draft another one. So we are going to draft another running back as I think about this. But what I really like about Zach Moss, Gus Edwards, Jamal Williams, Michael Carter is they're all going to be getting touches on week-to-week basis. They are in committees, but in a best ball format when you don't have to know who to start, I mean, I think we're going to be fine. So we're going to draft a running back here. This team is so balanced. We can really go anywhere with these next 2 picks, but I think a running back is going to be nice. Yeah, so let's, maybe not this pick, maybe the next one, but we're going to get a running back in one of these next 2. Let's figure out what we're doing. So Darrington Evans, Damian Williams, Amari Rogers. Amari Rogers would be very intriguing here if it wasn't for the Randall Cobb signing. I would love the Amari Rogers pick if it wasn't for Randall Cobb. Okay, so Kadarius Toney goes to the 1708. Devontae Booker at the 1709. So yeah, we go Darrington Evans here. Is there any news? No, he's still a handcuff running back that you can have for Derrick Henry, a running back coming off of back-to-back seasons in which he's had over 800 total touches in those back-to-back years. So yeah, getting Devin Singletary there at the 1710, I am really going to like that as a running back 5 with some upside. Now Darius Slayton goes at the 1711. Do we need to go wide receiver? Do we need to go? We're not going quarterback. We're going wide receiver or tight end here. Okay, so wide receiver or tight end is going to be the play. Tight end, we'd be bringing Ertz into a team with Mark Andrews, Johnny Smith. We really don't know if Johnny Smith is going to be an option. Wide receiver, we have Hopkins, McLaurin, Julio, Juju, Devontae Parker, Sterling Shepard, Brashad Perriman. Tight end is a little different where if we go with 3 guys, we can actually flex one. If they spike up, it's not going to be completely just a dead spot. So yeah, I think we go 2 quarterbacks, but we went 6 running backs here. We went 6 running backs. OJ Howard goes. Do we take Zach Ertz? I really want Byron Pringle. We've been drafting Pringle in the last round of every single one of these. We go Zach Ertz. I think we have enough upside with this team. It could be a wrong play. Like I said, guys, this is the number one thing that if you have a strong opinion about, I would love to hear it in the live chat. I'd love to hear about in the comment section. When we're rounding out our rosters here, it is crucial to get that last pick right from a roster construction standpoint. And I just don't know if we have accomplished that in the last 2 drafts. So if you have a strong opinion there, if you think we needed to go with an 8th wide receiver, or if we needed to go with the 3rd tight end, let me know, because that is not something that I was very confident in. Okay, so JP says, what are you thinking of the team at the 5th pick overall? My man, let me dive into this for you. So Zeke, Dobbins, Sanders at running back. Oh my God, you're dead. You're dead, my man. This team, I'm going to let you know right away, you need more capital allocated to the running back position. You don't have access to the waiver wire in this league. So we go through, you needed to fix that running back spot. I mean, even if you get someone in the last round here, this team can't make it through. It would be fine for like a super large tournament where you're just going all upside, but you have no floor stability with this team. I think you also can't be drafting 2 quarterbacks in the top 7 rounds, even if you like the value you're getting with Russell Wilson, even if you're getting that stack. If you want to get Wilson in the 7th, you can't be taking Allen in the 5th. So yeah, my man, I'm going to be honest. This is probably, out of all the teams we have broken down, this has been my least favorite team from a roster construction standpoint. I think a lot of the picks that you took them at good value. I don't necessarily think that they were the correct decisions based on what was on the board. I mean, also at tight end, you only went with 2 tight ends with Gesicki and Evan Ingram. I don't know if we were that comfortable with those 2 tight ends. So my man, JP, I am sorry, but I know I sound like an ass. I do not like that team at all. And I am wrong all the time. I will say that. I actually do like my team. I'm not going to say I'm not a massive fan of my team. I like mine. I could be wrong about the last round. But with this team, especially when you go Allen and Russell Wilson, my man, you cannot draft a 3rd quarterback. You just can't do that. You take Fitzpatrick there in the 16th. If you would have possibly gone with a running back at that spot, you would get 5 running backs on that team. I would have liked it a lot more. But I think the problem was, if you just look from a math perspective, literally just how this plays out through the year, you're going to be taking massive losses at running back week in and week out. So yeah, I hate to say it, my man, but I'm not a massive fan at all. I would even go as far as saying I really don't like it. Now, let me pull this up, and thank you, my dudes, for everybody who came out this long in the live stream. Now, I'm going to be up for about the next 2 hours sending out those draft guides. So please, if you joined Underdog with promo code FLOCK and you want our draft guide, make sure you shoot me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Discord, and let me get our free Discord link out for everybody who has not joined yet. Guys, this is a free group chat. You don't need an email. You don't need a credit card. You don't need anything. Here is the link to the group chat. I'm going to spam this over and over and over again. There are 4,000 people in here talking fantasy football every single day. So make sure you join. Also, you can shoot me a DM there if you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy and you want the draft guide. So let me spam that out for you, my man. I mean, my dudes, not my man. Like I said, guys, we've been live for a very, 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 very long time now. But great news for everybody is we'll be live again tomorrow. We will be live again tomorrow, which is fantastic news. We'll be live earlier so we can do 3 to 4 drafts and not have to stay up this late. So thank you, my dude. Luke saying, what time do you wake up in the mornings, Mason? Too damn early. We're probably too early. I'm going to try to sleep in the morning. I'll say that. I'm going to try my best. But yeah, thank you, my dudes. I hope to see